I haven't seen you since the plague.
Yahoo!
With the fine esteemed humans in the call, allow me to put forward Exhibit Cyberpunk. on PS4 and Xbox One.
I have not played it.
Looks like it plays like shit.
And yeah, it plays like doink. It plays like I mean, so I haven't touched
like doink.
Like fucking doink. I haven't touched it since December 2020, which was 10 months ago. So, and I haven't checked out any of the updates or anything that they did. I don't think I got excessively far in the story because like other better games came across my table, and I decided to play those instead. But the thing that really struck me was that like the city, Night City, which like, come on, did you want to get home for dinner at 5? Like Night City, it's so fucking stupid. Empty. Like there's no people, there's no cars. Dude. It feels like I'm playing a fucking Fallout game, but the premise of Fallout is that everyone died. The premise of Fallout is that bombs blew everyone up. So that's why it's really empty in Las Vegas. But when you're in the bustling metropolis of Night City and I can drive for 5 minutes without hitting a car, like, I mean, damn, video game.
It's so bizarre because like, also, have you
Grand
seen
Theft Auto has had cars in a game for a long time. We figured the technology out.
Yeah,
we
not
hit
new.
This breakthrough. It'd be like if you released a car without a steering wheel, and it's like, guys, we figured that technology out. We nailed this one. Sorry, go ahead.
Have you seen the difference between the PlayStation 4 version and the Xbox version?
Of what?
Because like
Cyberpunk
people on the street.
I buy it.
Which is
on
fucking
Xbox?
Weird. Yeah, because they're ostensibly the same systems. But anyway, we don't talk about video games with this kind of granularity. It's just wild to me that game came from a studio that made fucking Witcher and took just the biggest pile of shit because their shareholders were like, do what we say, and everyone was like, that's not. Let's not. And they were like, no, do it.
I think, okay, now I'm not discounting anyone's hard work here, because I understand that making truly any piece of art is truly a labor, and often a labor that involves many, many different people sacrificing many hours and much of their creative juice into, right? I understand that.
Yes.
And I have never personally made a video game. That is not something I have done. It is so outside the scope of something that I am capable of, right? However, I will say that of the 3 Witcher games and 1 Cyberpunk game, one of those games is good. So I think maybe there was just like a fluke where they made this really cool game.
That's a good point.
I think they just kind of, when you like, I don't know, see a great movie and then everything else that director makes is garbage, and you're like, okay, you just fell into this one. You slipped and you fell into a good game.
To be clear, you're saying the one good game that company
is Witcher
made
3.
Witcher 3.
Witcher 3. As someone who has played,
that is on my list of games to play, but I'm also realizing I can only play one game at a time. Is that something y'all do too? Like if I try and play 2 games at once, I'm like, I can't do it.
No,
I wish I could play one game at a time, but I can't.
It depends, because like if a game really gets me, then I'm in, and that's all I play. Like that, those just like perfect rare occasions where like Hades comes out and everything that I've been playing goes on pause because Hades came out, and like I am doing that again on a replay of Hades on the PS4. I'm like, I'm as in as I was when it came out a year ago. Right?
Yeah, it just hooks you by the ear.
It just sucks me right back in. It's the same thing when I play, like, Mass Effect 2 or Saints Row 4, like, any of my faves. It's like, they just suck me back in instantly. But, but especially because, like, I have a Switch, I have a PlayStation 4, so, like, I kind of will bounce between a few games at a time.
I made the unfortunate decision, like, 4 years after realizing I really fucked with games. Maybe not No, it was senior year to sophomore year. So 2 years after realizing, like, I love video games. Brief side history of Caleb and video games. My mom, I didn't get an Xbox 360 until my buddy gave me his in 2010. So it was like 5 years after the system was out. 4 years after the system was out. And then since then, I've bought every new Xbox the day it comes out, and have a gaming PC and have a PlayStation, and now I write about games. And the crux of this story is that I spent the first 2 years of my life in games being like, oh shit, I really like these. And then 2 years later, it was like, I should make this my job. And I know in no way regret that. But it has meant largely that, like, when the fall comes out, I've become a very stressed out mess of a person who's like, okay, for instance, Sable came out a week and a half ago. I'm about 10 hours into that and trying to finish it. I got code for Jet the Far Shore, which is the new game by the Super Brothers who made Sword and Sorcery. And I've got to play that, but that's my PC, so I couldn't play it this week. And then Far Cry 6 came out on Friday, and I'm trying to get through that. Back 4 Blood came out last night, and I'm going to start playing that. And then next week, you know what I mean? Like, so
Caleb
Jace, I wish I could play a game, but instead I've got this just list.
You're on assignment.
The fall is the fall is a nightmare. I literally, for those of you listening thinking this is a joke, I literally tell my wife around the first week of October, like, the next few months are going to be tough. And at this point, because we've been together long enough, she's like, yeah, I know. But that will mean that, like, 2 or 3 nights out of the week, I'm like, all right, I'm just going to be downstairs and I'm continuing what I've been doing all day so that I can, like, have things to talk about, write about, make content about. Yeah, if you love games and you love the experience of games and you love experiencing them the way you are, never write about them. And that sounds really negative.
I get what you're saying. I feel the same way. Like, as someone that, like, my trade is typically musical theater or music. You know, singing, making music, and
sure. Do you go watch the play and just enjoy it for the sake of enjoying it, or are you constantly like,
Well, I mean, it's impossible for me to go see a show and not have in-depth thoughts about it. Like, I can't just be like, fluff, let me just take it in. I mean, if I enjoy, but at the same time, I'm also enjoying that. It's a little bit different because it's not that same kind of time commitment or crunch. It's like, sit down for 2 hours and you're set, and I can kind of do with that what I want.
Sure, yeah.
But I'm also thinking, like, when then, right, or then when people are starting to say, like, hey, this thing that you like, do it in another way. Like, people are like, oh, come do karaoke. I'm like, ew, no. I'm not doing that. People are like, you like music, you like singing, you like musical theater. I'm like, I write songs, I like singing, I don't like karaoke, and I get so much shade for it. But, like, of course, this is a false equivalency as well. But yeah, I get what you're saying. When you start doing stuff for other reasons or other motivations come in, it kind of takes away from that. I mostly, though, with games was referring to the fact that, like, narratively, I can't keep track of more than one thing.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I
don't understand
that.
Who is this person again? Why did I do that? And God forbid I forget to do a side quest, and then I go back. I'm like, let me just do this, but, like, it's 4 weeks later.
You got the setup 20 hours of game ago, and the side quest does not remind you of the setup. So you're like, what am I?
The day that I did, I went back and I was like, let me just go through these, like, super early side quests that I didn't do. Let me just try and boost up my XP a little bit. And then someone goes, and then I finally go back and I find the thing that they were looking for. And all of a sudden, this character pops up behind me, and she goes, sorry, I was following you. And I went, into, like, that shit, like, earlier? Like, wait, hold on.
Or only in the context of this quest? Or, like, how long? Yeah, that's
several times from massive monsters, and you're just like, it was so silly, but it was.
I have realized recently that at the tender age of going on 29, my facility to remember the internal logic and consistency and events of, like, a fictional universe is, like, full. Like, I cannot. I am at capacity. So, like, you know, like, X-Men takes up, you know, this much of me, and then, like, Community and, you know, the Witcher universe and, like, all these things. Like, I'm full. And so, like, if you want me to get into the lore of whatever you're pitching me, that's fine, but I do have to, like, cast something, knowingly cast something away. I have to
something.
throw Bing Bong down the hole. You know what I mean? Like I have to forget something, or I'm full.
You gotta make room. You gotta make room. I mean, also the other thing for me is like, look, this was the worst. I think my roommate was like, "Do you have Fortnite?" And I was like, "No." And they were like, "You should get Fortnite." I was like, "Fine." And so then we play as like duos, and that's fun because I get to play with another queer person and not have to worry about the fact that there's some 8-year-old probably yelling slurs at me on the other side because I can't hear them. But
yeah, that's the secret. You don't listen to anybody
online with Fortnite ever. That
put
sounds
on
like
your favorite like podcast,
but
or
like
just like
just
some
the
jams
two of us
and just
as a team. It's fun as hell. But I would do that, and then I would go back to Uncharted, and I would go to shoot, and I would kill myself because
you forgot which one,
like fire, and then all of a sudden I would just drop a grenade in my lap, and I'd be like, "Well, this sucks." And like that's the other part. If I go from game to game, I'm like, how do I?
Yeah, I'm passing legislation that says that all shooters.
That happened to me with is actually Spider-Man. Because the second Spider-Man came up, I was like, I know exactly what I'm doing. I was like, I'm swinging, and
it's a Linux system. I know this. It's
like I was born to be this.
It's like it's in my blood.
With great power. I was talking with my friend Sam recently, and we both agree that like movie franchises need a previously on. Like if you are going to be a movie franchise with like story that carries over from movie, like I just saw No Time to Die, the most recent James Bond film.
Yeah.
And I quite liked it. It was my third favorite of the Craig Bonds. That said, I did only see 3 of them. So I missed the ones that everyone thinks are bad. Because I'm not such a James Bond guy that I have to see every new James Bond.
You skipped Quantum and Spectre.
And Spectre, exactly. And I think I made the right call. But I did sit down for No Time to Die, and I was like, who's this lady?
No Time to Die is great.
What's going on? I really enjoyed it. Had a good time.
But if you haven't watched one in years, you're like, who the fuck
but who's
is
this lady? And like, okay, let's say I did see Spectre when it came out in fucking 2016 or whatever.
Yeah, that's so fucking 5 years ago.
Can just like because like I normally say make it
like not to get back into this whole thing, but like literally Marvel has started doing this thing on their Disney Plus where they're like, all right, let's just the Marvel Legends little thing where they do like 8 minutes of like, here's what you need to know about this character.
Let's say you missed an entry, or God forbid you haven't.
Movies now, and they are starting to overlap. They've started like making their own little niche content with it. But no, I agree. If it's a big franchise, what the hell happened?
Yeah, what, like, okay,
also,
let's say...
it should be common practice. I'm finding with, like, even, like, older TV shows, right? Like, so I'm watching True Blood right now, which is a trip. It is an absolute...
Cheers.
Campy romp of a time. It's so much fun, and so stupid in the best way. And, if you take any time between previous season and the next season, it literally drops you right back where you left off, and gives you I was like, hold on, I just watched this like a week ago and I forget what had happened. Like I had to go back and watch one of those fan made recap videos on YouTube, like season 2 recap. It's crazy. It is bananas. It's
like, okay, let's say, for the sake of argument, that I did see Spectre. But again, let's say I saw it 3 fucking years ago. Can you give me just like a little reminder of what happened? Because I think they're overestimating how many times we're watching movies, and this is not specific to James Bond.
They're like, oh, we're in the streaming era, people will know.
And I'm like, no, I didn't go back and rewatch the Craig franchise before this. I watched Casino Royale for the 100th time a few months ago, and then, like, that was it. Like, let's pretend that, like, I live a life. Let's pretend that, like, I have a life outside of remembering the core lore of your franchise. Just like a little catch me up would be.
I mean, I'm thinking back to when when F9 was coming out, I embarked on a similar journey to you, Kevin, where I also was like, let me watch all of these. Let me binge the entire franchise.
That's
right. Including Hobbs and Shaw. So give me all of it.
Universe.
For the FCU.
Fast and
Universe.
Fast.
The FU, the Fast Universe.
FU.
The FU.
I'm like, okay, got it. I have seen all these movies, and then I watch F9, and I go, wait, who the fuck is this?
Wait, which one's
and I
this?
just watched them too, and I was
What's
like, wait,
going on?
hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I confused?
Even franchises I like. I would love if I walked into Mission Impossible 7, even though, yes, I'm going to rewatch a lot of those movies before it comes out. I would love if it opened with, like, a previously on Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
And,
you missed on?
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Give me just, like, a little catch-up. Because, like, TV was smart, and it started doing that when it was, like, there's important stuff you need to know, so they're, like, previously on Lost, and they tell you, fucking, here's what you need to know for this episode of Lost. You know? It would be great if you could just, like, throw that... Make it the opening credits.
It's the first page in almost every single Marvel comic book made after...
That's right. They have a little refresher. They're like, it's 2 paragraphs. Here is the premise of the book that you are reading.
I'm thinking of the Matt Fraction FF Fantastic Four, where they literally give you at the beginning of each issue 4 bullet points. They're like,
yeah. Well, that is company wide. That is a Marvel mandate, and I know it's a company wide because DC doesn't do this. But every Marvel comic you open, maybe it's not like the first page, maybe it's like a couple pages in, they give you like a cold open or something, but there's like, here is a paragraph describing the premise of this book or the premise of our main character. The second paragraph is, here is the relevant story information from the previous issues. It's crisp. It's
and it works.
And
like the thing is, I mean, I only consume DC Comics material in like the trade paperback form. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not.
Do you think that we will get something like that when the new Saga comes out next year?
They fucking
Saga's
better.
coming back?
Yeah, they finally announced that it's actually coming back.
It's coming back. Now I have to catch up.
They showed the cover and said it's coming in February or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. So like after a solid 3 or 4 years.
They were like, they took 18 months off.
Like, wow.
And they took 4 years off.
Yeah, they were like, we'll be back in like 6 months. Lol.
They're like, hey, there's this whole Donald Trump thing. We need to take a break for a minute. And they're like, he's gone. It's not great.
Well, that was like a pattern
per se, but
they did that every time.
They both got hella busy too. So
yeah, well they would do that every time with Saga, where they put out 5 or 6 issues. Then the trade came out, and they took a little time off for like people to get caught up with the trade.
So they took a little time off so they could spend off all that fucking money they made.
Yeah, exactly. Or like Fiona Staples could like dip their fucking hands in like an ice bucket and just like, oh god, oh fuck.
Blow out the fire that's on their fingertips. Yeah, no.
Yeah, exactly. The churn and grind of making the most popular comic book.
I gotta get back into those because a lot of shit goes down in those. I don't even think I'm up to date. Actually, I think I kind of
actually, speaking of previously ons, I would like take 6 months off between Saga trades and then like open up a new trade and be like, I gotta reread these fuckers. I don't know what's going on. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I can't remember. So especially now that it's been like 4 years, I'm like, I guess I'm rereading 9 trades of Saga. I guess that's what I'm doing.
I'm reading 116 issues of this comic book.
I regret nothing.
I mean, it is some good shit.
It's good shit. Hey, folks out there in listener land, read Saga. Read Saga. It's good as hell.
It is shockingly good.
And also the first trade's like $10. You have $10.
No, it's we talked about this. It's like one of the smartest things. It's like the first trade is cheaper than the rest of them. It is so smart.
Thing.
Yeah, it's like
not just Image anymore, but Image started it. Now everyone's like,
that's smart.
People buy their books, guys.
Yeah. Oh shit. Image seems to be making a lot of money off of this concept.
Well, it's also because Image makes good books. Like,
well, you got me there.
I as far as like some of the bigger names in comic books.
If we were to inventory the shelf behind me, most of them are Image books. You do indeed got me there.
You might have. I'm gonna guess you've probably got 2, maybe 3 Dark Horse if we're pushing it. I know you've got a
all
shit
Hellboy.
Ton.
Yeah, they're all.
See, there it is.
All my Dark Horse are Hellboy. I have a little. Oh, let's see here. There's some.
X-Men collection doesn't count.
Yeah, the X-Men collection doesn't count. I have a few Marvels that are not X-Men. I have a couple DC, really just the Injustice comics, which are excellent. And then
that's fascinating.
And then it's just like Image all the way down.
I have functionally, I don't know if it's exclusively in the trade. I think towards the end I was like up to date, so I have it as the issues, but I have the entire New 52 Batman run.
Woo.
I have, which was a journey, and I loved it. But that was like literally my introduction to comic books, was that run, that Scott Snyder run. Which
your introduction to comic books, let alone your introduction to Batman, was like when Batman was good.
How
dare you?
When Batman was good.
It was wild. And then I got Batman Eternal,
was
which was fine. It was 3 incredibly dense trades that were all right. And then I have Image.
Yeah, I do have a lot of Boom in single issues, because Boom is putting out a lot of really good creator-owned, but I haven't done that thing where I buy the trade and then put the single issues out on the sidewalk for the neighborhood to piece over.
Right.
I haven't upgraded those yet, but
Boom doesn't do Nuclear Family, do they?
I don't know.
I'm talking about that newer comic, Nuclear Family.
I know what you mean. I don't know.
I got the first issue of it. It seemed pretty intriguing. I did not follow up, but that's because I am Baroque.
Oh, you're Baroque? Greendale is flat.
Baroque. Yes, I am a misshapen pearl.
Yeah.
That inspired the majority of artistic movement.
Yeah, it's good. Boom, they do We Only Find Them When We're Dead, 7 Secrets.
Oh, yeah, I have that one. That one's next to my bed right now.
We Only Find Them When They're Dead has such good art.
Exquisite art. And then I have some Ahoy in single issues, but that's really just Second Coming, the book that DC was too cowardly to publish.
The only Marvel I have on my bookshelf is Halo, and it's only because they published them. It's
weird.
Really strange.
They published Halo.
Yeah, there's like 4 Halo graphic novels that Marvel published. I don't know why, but I guess that technically means that Halo's in the Master Chief's in the MCU. So that's cool.
I hate that. I don't like that at all.
I don't like that one bit. Keep him away.
If Kang is going to exist and have multiple timelines, why can't there be a timeline where the Master Chief is fighting?
I don't like this. That's a no for me.
We can have 2099. Why can't we have
Halo? So maybe I'm speaking out of my ass right now, but I just don't want that crossover.
Oh, yeah, you're talking
I don't
to
want the crossover, Jace. Don't get it twisted. I don't want the crossover. I just think it's fun, a fun thought experiment.
I want my toys to play with each other. I want to pick up my cowboy toy and my spaceman
but everything
toy.
else I have
the same size.
Yeah.
Everything else I have is Image, Boom, or Vault. Which, if you haven't bought any Vault comics books,
Vault's pretty sick.
They're putting out some really good shit.
Vault employs a lot of my friends, so I'm very thankful for Vault comics.
Oh, fuck yeah. That's dope. Money, what is it called? Money Shot?
Money Shot's cool, the Sarah Beatty, and a whole bunch of other people, but I just know Sarah Beatty.
Money Shot's about a bunch of scientists going around the universe, fucking everything. It's great.
Love that.
Heathen's very good.
Heathen cool.
Is Natasha Alterici, and that's actually getting a movie.
Hell yeah.
Heathen's about a Viking woman who is cast out of her clan for being gay, and her dad, rather than killing her, just let her go and said, fucking do whatever you want. And she breaks...
Okay, I need to read this.
She breaks... Hold on, it gets better. The first trade is her going and breaking Freya out of a prison that she was put in by Odin.
Okay.
Because she was also trying to, not tear down the hierarchy. And Odin is an insufferable bastard. And so they decide together, I'm pretty sure as lovers, to go and kill Odin.
We love that. Love to see
It's fucking lit.
That is the best news I've heard all day. Thank you so much.
It's fucking lit. The art style in Heathen is extremely good too.
What's it called again?
Heathen.
Heathen. Heathen.
Yarp.
Yarp. Yeah. I assume that's
also that movie still fucking whips, y'all.
What, Hot Fuzz? Yeah, it's fucking excellent.
Hot Fuzz.
Hell yeah. I rewatched it because Edgar Wright is dropping his new movie Halloween this year. So I've been doing my
Last Night in Soho?
Last Night in Soho, which I am just fully erect for. And
I don't like horror movies, so I'm really curious how horror
I think the movies he's citing as references are like thrillers. You know what I mean? Like they're
a lot more suspense thriller based in structure than it does anything else.
So that'll be exciting. But I've been doing my little Edgar Wright rewatch, and it's like 5 movies. It's not much of a commitment.
So you're watching the Cornetto trilogy. You're gonna do Scott Pilgrim and maybe what, Baby Driver?
Yeah, exactly. So like his 5 movies previous to this. Baby Driver, I probably won't be able to squeeze in because I'm also doing my little horror movie, October binge, as I'm sure many people are.
I'm so upset with myself. I haven't watched any horror movies this year, and I love horror movies.
You disgust me.
Oh God. How do y'all do it?
Well, there's different... Okay, Caleb, I used to absolutely hate horror movies. I used to be so terrified. I wouldn't watch them. I wouldn't go with anyone. I would get invited to the movies. I'd say, no, y'all have fun. I can't. You
gotta find the right ones. You gotta find
the right one. And then there's something about watching it from the lens of, like, the special effects.
Yeah.
You gotta let the right one in?
Yeah, you gotta let the right one in.
I think there's a lot of that. But I think also...
that was stupid.
I don't know. There's also something really fun about, like, a really great way to get into them, in my opinion, is watching really bad ones. And I'm not talking about, like, bad ones that are just like, oh, this is, like not like the reboot, not the contemporary reboot style of bad, where it's like, this is an idea that is good, but it's just, it's just bad. I'm talking about, like, shitty, pulpy garbage. You can tell the entire team didn't, like, nobody on the team spoke English, but they wanted the movie to be in English, so they've got these terrible, like, ADR on it, and some of it is genuinely so much fun. I've been getting a lot more into, like European horror, stuff like that as well. There's some really cool stuff that's come out of Madrid, back in, like, 80s, 90s. I mean, also still, I don't know. There's at a certain point you start to go, like, you start to break it down in a certain way, and it's really fun.
I should clarify my disconnect too. Like, a big portion of it is like a dislike of spiritual horror because I was raised in the church and that shit fucks me up.
Sure.
Still.
That was
but I can watch like Alien.
Spiritual
horror, like, sci-fi horror is my shit. I love
Alien
sci-fi horror fucking bangs for sure. I think spiritual horror is hit or miss for me.
Except for Midnight Mass.
You're liking Midnight Mass.
I heard that's cool.
I loved Midnight Mass. Not liking, loved. That show was fucking great. But
you like?
But did you watch like Bly Manor or Hill House?
No, because those are spiritual, and I fucking hate that. And I almost didn't like Midnight Mass because it's very religious. But then it takes this turn that I swear to God, I can't say it until both of y'all watch it because it will give some shit away. But I swear to God, I pitched a story idea like this to my uncle as a comic book, and he was like, the blasphemy alone would get you death threats. And I was like,
good.
That sounds awesome.
Bring it on.
I'm not going to lie to you, Caleb. That is the greatest pitch for watching Midnight Mass I've heard so far, and now I want to
Midnight Mass is fucking incredible.
Wow.
Oh, it's so great. It's so great.
Yeah.
There's also
and
a lot of
takes
really
a horror trope that we all know, right? Religious horror.
Right.
And then adds another horror trope.
Here's something that'll be fun. I'm really curious about. Kevin, I don't know if we've talked about this yet. Malignant. Have either of you seen it?
Okay, hold on. Malignant. Hold on. Train. Choo.
Kev just turned into a fucking Tuscan Raider.
That's how much I fucking
watch Malignant. It is absolutely batshit. It is.
Wait, is this the one with the person?
Yeah, the person.
Yeah, I know people that got to the end of that and they were like, "What the fuck?" And I got to the end of it and I was like, "Oh shit, this is dope."
Yeah,
see, I got to the end of it and I saw this coming from the first half hour of the movie, but that's only because but it's also like, it is so absurd and abstracted, and this is the guy from. He's also done all of the Conjuring movies.
Well,
right?
it was James Wan. So Saw.
James Wan, yeah.
So the Conjuring films.
Wait, Caleb,
Furious 7. Aquaman.
Caleb, watch Saw.
I've seen Saw.
Yeah, Saw.
Movie.
Bouncing off of the mutual concept and Jace, my gateway into horror was finding the right
Nemo
story. I found Nemo, and that movie scared the fuck out of me. Those sharks? Are you shitting me? The jellyfish fucked me up.
Kevin's like, he touched the butt.
He touched the butt. Oh fuck! What the fuck? The fish? They can't be out of water like that. The dentist was so fucking scary. Darla, are you kidding me? No, but what my key...
Okay, no, I'm starting to believe this now.
I had to find the right filmmakers.
So what
I had to
it?
find.
What was your
I
aim?
had to find the right. I think The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing.
Ah, great.
Which is like one of the best movies
yeah.
ever made. Incredible. And I had to find
the OG The Thing, right? With
the
original,
the second
Russell.
The Thing,
and Samuel L. Jackson.
Jace, you could not be more wrong about anything you just said.
What the fuck did you
Sorry,
just
I don't
say?
know. I just envisioned Samuel L. Jackson in Jurassic
You
Park.
could not be
We're
more...
literally this is a podcast about Community, and we're talking.
Oh, that was so funny. No, I'm so sorry.
Jason started listing stuff about a movie.
And I'm like, that ain't it.
About.
That ain't it. So it was.
That ain't it, kid.
So the 80s The
Nope.
Thing, starring Kurt Russell and Keith David from Community.
Jesus Christ, what's wrong with that?
It's.
Hey, Jace, they have one thing in common.
Okay, yeah, I know I'm racist.
I
right?
see there's something in common in your eyes.
I'm imagining. I'm literally having. I'm visualizing Samuel L. Jackson when he was on this one news interview where somebody confused him and Lawrence Fishburne because of the commercials that they had during the Super Bowl. And he's like, we don't all look the same. And now I'm just imagining Samuel L. Jackson, who probably is not listening, thinking exactly the same thing at me, and me feeling just immense sadness about it.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I did have to give you a hard time.
Samuel L.
I did.
Jackson. I am a motherfucker.
But that movie was a big gateway to me. It was like, oh, not only does this scare the piss out of me, but also I really love the craft. So the same thing Jace was talking about with like the low budget stuff and like seeing the craft elements of it. I approached it from a different plane.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is one of the things for me is I like the I like the low budget stuff. As I also love the high budget stuff, but I think the low budget stuff is a great way for someone that's like, I scare easy, and they don't want to get into that. If you can watch that not super scary stuff that does get kind of scary, and then learn that appreciation for the tropes, the pacing, and the legitimate like technical prowess of practical effects. I mean, digital effects don't do the same thing for me when it comes to horror. No. It doesn't, and it's like you can watch practical effects and be like, this looks kind of fake, but it also looks so real.
Exactly.
It's really fun to think like, how'd they do that, or breaking down where they got that, and just that kind of pacing and these clever ideas. My favorite horror movies are ones that mix in elements of mystery and sci-fi and make you go on this journey of you're trying to figure it out, like The Ring, right?
Oh, for sure.
Not necessarily Ringu, right, the original one, but I'm talking like the first Ring movie.
You're talking Naomi Watts' 2003, The Ring.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Fun time. Great fucking movie, you know? And the thing is, it's also really exciting because that's one of the other reasons why I like horror movies that change it around for me was I took a class in school called Making Monsters, and it was basically about like breaking down horror as a genre in books and media and movies and TV and all that stuff.
That's cool.
And understanding what does it reflect in society, what is its function, and what do these things do. And a lot of times really good horror has an idea and has something that they're commenting on. And
yeah, I mean,
fun to break.
I've bored you all with the conversation about how our monsters evolved to reflect our like fears, right?
Yes, no, absolutely.
100%.
Like vampires being the rich hiding among us and stealing
rich
the
European
blood of the
sexual.
Vampires have always been a metaphor for sexual deviancy, or anything,
or zombies, and how we are afraid we are shambling through life because we're just they're all
Zombies,
referential to something.
Zombies. A lot of zombies originated with actually a pretty racist fear process. It had to do.
I don't mean originally.
You're talking like ghoul
I'm speaking
zombies.
Strictly in terms of like their popularity in the masses, like now, like running from the 70s through the 2020s,
right?
How we went from like werewolves, we went from exorcisms to like vampires to like
they
aliens,
cycle,
and then back to they come back and forth
and stuff like that. But like, I'm really curious to see what zombie movies look like in the next decade, in response to living through a global pandemic, because their current manifestation has almost exclusively been that of fear of the virus. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
ever since
from,
like 2000 with 28 Days Later, right? Like the rage virus that spread through.
Right, and they've always touched on elements of something being contagious, but to lean into that.
Hey y'all, if zombies happen in real life and they run, give me a gun and one bullet, and then I'll see y'all later. That's it.
See y'all in the hereafter, whatever it may be.
I will unplug my gaming console before the game is over.
Yeah, a zombie sprints at me. Oh, cool. Peace.
Later.
I kind of like this planet, but I didn't like it enough to fight for it. Bye.
Yeah, late. Yeah, absolutely not.
Late.
But this is, of course, Advanced Community Studies, a podcast where we watch and talk about the American television comedy show Community 1 or 2 episodes at a time. We are also the premier podcast in the Yahoo Screen Podcasting Network.
Yahoo.
Ooh, so spooky.
It's so spooky for the October Z's.
It's our Talktober episode. We have to talk about spooky stuff.
That's right. I am one of your hosts, TV's Kevin Lanigan, and if I did marry the Sting and we had half Sting children and they wanted to learn how to grift, I would tell them to watch their mother, not listen to you.
Thank you so much for doing that. That's my favorite quote from this whole episode, and I thought about trying to do it, and I knew that I wouldn't be able to pull it off, so I'm so pleased that you did it. Hey, what's up, everybody? How's it going? My name's Jace. I use they, them pronouns, and, I don't know, hot dogs, and just Annie doing the worst,
like running
man you've ever seen, but like backwards. It's so good. That's me.
And I'm Caleb, the third host, the daddy host, the hostess with the mostest kids, and the worst sound quality of this episode because I'm house sitting on the dum and forgot it. But more than that, you can't kick me out. I've been here for almost 6 seasons, 3 more, and I'll have a 2-year degree.
3 more and she'll have her 2-year degree. Beautiful. What if we didn't mention just being gone for like a month and a half? What if we just ignored it? Wouldn't that be something? Thank you all for your patience. You know, you've been beautiful. I have not gotten any DMs of like, hey, where is it? I thank you. We were supposed to come back in like mid-September, and then my life fell apart. So I had to take some time and put that back together. And with only 5 episodes of Community left, you know, we gotta send this thing off right. We gotta win this last race. You know,
we gotta dunk it the most.
Yeah, we gotta slam dunk on in. It's time to slam now, and we got a real thing going now. Welcome to the Slam Jam. And I'm sorry, I have consumed all of my episode's allotment of gin is gone. So we are starting off with a good entryway into the episode here. But yes, thank you all for your patience. You've been beautiful. I love you all. It's good to be back. How do you podcast? Googling how to podcast.
How to podcast.
How to podcast.
Look, all I'm saying is we've done this for, over a year now, and we've learned a lot of things. And
a year and a half.
We've also not learned a lot of things. A year and a half?
We started in April of 2020.
That's fucked up.
That's fucked up. That's messed up.
That's fucked up.
Apparently, how to podcast. Number 1, choose a topic. Got it. Number 2, pick a co-host. Optional. But I chose 2. Number 3, choose a name. Interesting. Okay, we're done with that. Number 8, get a microphone. So they don't have that for a while. They put the recommendation at the bottom. Get a microphone. Cool. Let's send off. Oh my goodness.
What happened? Huh?
No, it was okay. You coughed so loud, but I didn't hear it at all.
Wait, I thought I was.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so I was scared. What happened was I was scared. What happened? Remember that?
I appreciate your fear. Happy Halloween.
Remember
but,
that scene in the pilot where Abed's like, "Why aren't you guys making sound? Am I deaf?" I thought.
Yes. What's going on?
Can you hear me?
It's literally in the pilot. Oh, sorry.
I thought
it's
had happened to
interesting
me.
because I'm literally thinking about Abed. Like, Abed's character has gone through some pretty drastic shifts, and a pretty large one happened earlier on this season, and it's exciting to see it carry over into these episodes.
Interesting. I think we're at an interesting point for Danny Pudi's performance on Community, because I don't think he's ever like... I don't know. Maybe this is controversial. I've always felt this way ever since the season first aired. I feel like he's a little out of it this season in a lot of ways.
If I may.
Please.
You may not.
Don't speak.
Structurally, the way the role has always functioned is that when it's not being serious and like surprisingly cool and like, oh, actually Abed has it all figured out and like fixes everything, right? Something like whatever that may be. The other role Abed played was goofy and go with the flow with Troy. And what they've had to do is they've had to make the character go through the growth of no longer relying on Troy. And so they fill those beats with other people. Like you'll get a moment where now it's mostly him and Annie now because they live together.
And Danny and Allison are like really close, like more so than even like other members of the Community cast. Like they're very close and they have a good chemistry. Right. So it makes a lot of sense that they would.
But you can see that that's where that space was redistributed to, was having those funny bits, or even the funny bit. Like I'm thinking in this episode in particular, all of the suitcase swapping bits, right? Is, with Annie, it's the going really well and like the physical comedy and stuff like that. Very reminiscent of something that Abed would have done with Troy.
I think you're onto something there, and I feel like kind of the same way with both of these characters and both of these actors is that like because they're not really the focus of storylines so much, it kind of feels like they're just doing bits and having fun, which is fine. Like that is, I'm not calling out any performer or any writer or anything like that. I've always felt a bit of disconnect from those two performers in this season, and maybe it's because they just weren't getting a lot of like really solid material to work with. I think.
Well, I think there's very clearly it is so obvious that everybody involved knew that this was kind of like, we've pushed our luck so far.
And you have people like, Ken or Joel or Jim who are still like fully in the tank or like can't fake it, you know what I mean? So it still feels like we are getting all of them, but like maybe Danny Pudi is looking at like, I have 2 kids, I'm filming another pilot in a couple weeks, like you're getting. It
doesn't feel like they phoned it in. It just feels like it's not. I don't know. Maybe the stakes are a little bit different. I'm thinking back to this episode, and this might be an unpopular opinion. I'm not a huge fan of this episode. There are parts that I love and I remember very fondly, but as a whole, this is like not one of my favorites. And then, but the thing I'm actually trying to get to is the fact that we're now in the part of the season where almost every episode they have, if I'm not mistaken, they have a joke about a character spinning off, right? It's basically them saying, we've given up on Community, we're trying to see what other things we can do, and we're joking about it. So they're aware with it, and they're having fun with it, and it's really cute and it's fun. But like, it's very clear that that's the energy. They were like, look, hey, this shouldn't even be happening right now, so we're just going to have fun. And if that means that there's a few more moments that feel just kind of like bits that are just there for no reason, then that's so be it. And like, I don't hate that.
And after
it's just that's how you end up with a
100 episodes
section about the word mental.
Yeah, 6 seasons, 100 episodes. It's like, sometimes you're just gonna feel what is Abed's monologue in the last episode? It's like, it has to be okay for TV to phone in a day, or like, you know, like it has to be okay for it to like kind of chill out for a little bit.
They know.
And
They know.
I think they all know at this point in season 6, like, they're polishing the brass on the Titanic. The ship is going down. They lived longer than anyone thought they were supposed to.
Well, like, that's okay. That's not a bad thing. That's part of the glory of this show.
Exactly.
You know?
I think
it's fine. It's like,
I'm not mad.
These people are so familiar with the idea of literally an expiration date that they're able to have fun with that idea when it comes down to it.
Oh,
and that's what's
this
so...
is like the third time, right?
Right.
This isn't the first time they were like, oh boy,
this
it's
is
gonna end. Like they've gotten used to it.
That's why it's so charming, their response to it. It's like, because they're like, cool, great.
Right. Because
let's literally joke about it.
We're all in pretty firm agreement that, like, the first half of this season is pretty solidly excellent. Like, it's pretty uniformly, like, excellent and interesting and experimental. Then we kind of hit this patch where it's like, oh, this is fine. This feels like, you know, y'all just kind of spinning some wheels.
Hear me out. Season 6 thus far has been a perfect microcosm of the series as a whole.
That checks out.
You've got these moments where it starts out really punchy and it breaks form and it's experimental in certain ways and they're playful and all this stuff and it's unbelievable. Everything lines up like a beautiful, well-oiled machine that's a puzzle and also a transformer. But like then you get to parts where they just kind of go, we're here. We're gonna make some TV, and it's gonna air.
Dan watched The Sting, and he didn't like it very much.
Enjoyable television.
So we're gonna make an episode about that. No, for sure.
I mean, I can't think of any episode that I like actively dislike. I mean, I like every episode.
Completely get you. And the show ends with 3 of the best episodes of the entire show. So like, it's not like Community became, you know, like How I Met Your Mother, where like it just completely turned to shit before our very eyes, you know. Sorry.
No, it seems like they at a certain point in the season went, okay, let's prioritize closing this off properly.
For sure.
And so you get a little bit of a lull as we get towards the halfway mark while they're focusing a little bit more on making sure we have something that we can wrap up.
And I support that strategy. You know, like, I
think it's a great strategy.
TV is a constantly moving train, and like you have to keep laying track because the episode has to come out. And I completely understand, like, okay, let's make these really good, and so these are going to be, you know, they're going to be
whatever they have to. They're going to get us from point A to point B.
Exactly.
But point B is going to be fucking sick.
Exactly.
Because it's...
And if Community Season 6 had been like an Apple TV Plus original and it was like 9-10 episodes a season, we could have had a season of like complete and total bangers. But it's like, whatever, there are these 3 that are like, they're fine. I don't turn them off if I'm rewatching. It's fine.
They're renewable. They're also oddly memorable.
I agree.
Like, this Grifting episode, I remember. Is it my favorite? No. But I fucking remember this episode.
I get you. Let's talk about this episode. Season 6, Episode 9, Grifting 101, directed by Rob Schraub, written by Ryan Ridley. In this episode,
as himself.
As himself, as the guy at Jeff's gym. In this episode, special guest star Matt Berry shows up as Roger DeSalvo, the teacher of grifting at Greendale, and of course sends the entire class for a grift. And then the Save Greendale committee attempts to grift him in return. That's it. That is all that happens. There is no B story. That is all that happens.
It's fascinating looking at it now, right, as a bunch of time has passed, and also understanding fundamentally, oh, this is Ryan Ridley, and looking at Rick and Morty, which also uses a lot of Ryan Ridley.
Right, he's like a tenth of the voices on Rick and Morty, in addition to being a writer.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, I think about this and I go, oh, this reminds me, ever so slightly, of the Rick and Morty episode about
the heist.
heists.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
And it's funny because on the one hand, where who is it? DeSalvo. He says, he's like, nice try, nice, and then also, by the way, nice double try. What is it? Nice second. Nice. You know what I'm talking about? Where he says like, you're gonna try and double cross my double cross.
Yeah.
And like that. That is a reference That is like a very small parallel to the entirety of the episode on Rick and Morty, and like,
yeah,
you can see that this was like the beginning of an idea, and I mean the Rick and Morty episode does it better. That's
I think the second draft was much more effective. I think the Rick and Morty
they also
they really got
they fucking did that. They laid down the groundwork for
this
that one.
This dry run was not quite as effective, but you do get nice try thrice. I see what we're doing.
This was them kind of returning. It was here's what did it for me, right? It's tonally, it's a little confused because it does that whole ragtime.
The slowest version of The Entertainer I've ever heard in my entire. Let's pick it up, folks. Let's pick up the tempo on The Entertainer.
It's just a strange choice because it's like old timey. But that's not what I get from Grifting. I would have much rather gotten like an Ocean's pastiche.
It is an homage to the movie that they reference 47 times in this episode, The Sting, which I did watch for this podcast, but I watched it back in August when we were
I feel like that would have informed my lens a lot. What can you tell us about The Sting?
It would. So it stars Robert Redford and Paul Newman, classic duo, two great old Hollywood stars. Obviously Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid is a classic. I watched this movie, and I watch a fair amount of movies from the 60s and 70s. So I want to preface this by saying that I know how to watch an old movie. It's not out of the ordinary. It's not like I only watched Star Wars and then went back and watched like a movie with no Jedi.
You're familiar with this aesthetic,
right? So I want to preface that before I say it's just one of the most boring movies I've ever seen in my entire life. It's so boring. Everyone in this episode, when they watch The Sting, that is correct. I was ready to dial in, and I was asleep. It's so boring.
They make it so clear that they're like, look, this movie blows. It is so boring.
Won Best Picture, was a giant financial success.
And that's like the lens that they talk about it through the entire episode. But then for some reason they also go, you know what else would be great? What if we tried to make our version of this bad movie?
Yeah, this was
why is it that they were aware that it's not good and boring and then decided to use that aspect of it?
This is one of those times where I've talked about it before, where I was listening to the podcast Harmontown, which was like Dan Harmon's live show.
Yes.
And it was another of those times where you would hear him talk about a movie on that show, and then 6 months later when The Community came out, there was an episode about it, right? So he just Dan Harmon watched The Sting,
fixated,
didn't like it, and decided that was an axe he needed to grind. He decided that was what he needed to spend his time doing. And I don't know, he just occasionally gets those axes. I mean, the Rick and Morty episode, if you watch the bonus material on HBO Max that sometimes put after Rick and Morty episodes, it's just Dan Harmon talking about how all heist movies are terrible, which I don't agree with. I love a heist movie, but he hates them. So that Rick and Morty episode is him grinding that same axe, but it just wasn't as sharp this time, I guess. He just did not grind it good.
He's grinded it a few times and it keeps getting sharper. Yeah, it's
exactly. He needed another pass at the grind, and you know what? Good for him that he got it. We're happy for him. And but Jace, this does start. You and I were talking before the record about how much we enjoy What We Do in the Shadows, the TV show.
You read my mind. That was literally what I was hoping we were going to talk about next.
Starring Matt Berry, who is the guest star on this episode, and he is on another plane of funny, that show.
That whole cast is on another plane at What We Do in the Shadows. It is fucking exceptional stuff.
The funniest fucking ensemble I've seen in a long time. It's probably my favorite, TV show on the air right now. And as someone that, just caught up with Ted Lasso and Mythic Quest, I'm not coming from nowhere.
I'm thinking, the only other one that I'm putting at that same level right now for me is actually Ted Lasso. Although I haven't watched Mythic Quest, and it is on my list.
Ted Lasso, good show. No one here is denouncing Ted Lasso.
Dude, the last few episodes of Ted Lasso
fucked me up.
Fuck, dude.
fucked my whole shit up. The Coach Beard episode, the finale. I mean, I cry at every sports movie. I just do. I don't even particularly. I don't watch sports, but like, there's something about the camaraderie and the sense of togetherness and male celebration. Like, there's something about it that just gets me. Ted Lasso, good show. No one is fighting against that. And Mythic Quest, I just started the second season. Very much enjoying that show. But goddamn, does What We Do in the Shadows slay me constantly. It's
exciting stuff. But to the point, what was his name? Matt, right?
Matt
I'm so
Berry.
bad with names.
That's okay.
I didn't know Matt Berry when I first watched Community. Right? So now What We Do in the Shadows actively informed the lens that I was watching when I rewatched this episode earlier today, even.
His
right? I was just like,
sense of humor, his
my God.
style
like,
of
I
delivery.
get more sense of humor a bit better now, and I see what you're doing, and it's
good show. Good show. What show? I haven't seen that show. All right, all the best.
Yeah, isn't there? Am I misremembering? Isn't there a moment at the beginning that legitimately makes no sense, and then they just move on with it with the
hat
sitting in the classroom?
Could be anything.
No, it's
a lot of non sequiturs here. Could be a lot of things.
I don't know. My favorite thing about that moment is both Abed and Annie ask long questions, and then Britta goes, "What?" And then he goes, "You talk too much."
You talk too much.
To the person that has spoken the least. It's good. It's good.
It's good. There's a lot of fun stuff here. My kingdom for a B story that we can cut back to. You know what I mean? Like, there's just it.
No, that's. It's
Would
also.
Time desk be a time desk, Kev says.
Yes, indeed. Would that this hoodie were a time hoodie so I could correct my past mistakes. Well,
they do that. They do technically do secondary timeline in the back, but it's a flashback and it's super brief. And yeah, I get what you're saying. That's like something that they do a lot, or they have done a lot on Community, of like multiple plot lines that you kind of weave together, and when they really all tie back in at the end, that's when it's some of those all-time best episodes.
The back half of season 6 is just the episode has one premise and we are doing one thing as an entire show, right? We are making a sci-fi movie. We are doing a grifting class. We are all in a RV that's broken down. Paintball, Garrett's wedding, finale. Like, they just, for whatever reason, in the back half of season 6,
activities.
There's no B story. Like, there's like runners. You know, it depends on how you define a B story. But everyone is doing one.
Everything's a group activity. Exactly. It's not split up into multiple conflicts within the group. It's the group all has the same conflict.
Yeah.
It feels a lot like parts of the first and second seasons where they just have novelty episodes. Except season assembled of them. Which almost, and I obviously have no idea if this was the case, but to me kind of feels like them going, it's our farewell to our greatest hits.
Yeah.
I mean, that would make sense to focus in on the specialty episodes. If that lens does make sense to me as well, but I also think that there's something about the way that they're executed earlier on. They lean a little harder into, like, aesthetic pastiches, and, like, even like the dialogue also shifts, and this feels like there's not a full. You know what I mean? But that does make sense structurally.
I don't think that the farewell to a Rolling Stones is as good as prime Rolling Stones, though.
No, for sure.
No, that is.
This. I get what you mean. That this does kind of feel analogous to. This does feel analogous to, like, I don't know, the first season where it's like, we're taking a weird pottery class, or we're taking a weird accounting class that's a Dead Poet Society thing. You know, it kind of feels like that. But even then, in those episodes, you did still have that second thing to ping off of. You did have the back and forth, the feeding energy of that. And I was thinking about this recently. To a certain degree, I appreciate that the final season of Community is not Community's greatest hits, but we're doing it again. You know, I appreciate to a certain degree that it's not, we are not rigidly closing every plot line on Community, or we are not homaging every significant thing that happens. For the most part, it's like a new season with new energy, and we're trying new things with new characters, and I appreciate that. But this episode then also suffers from my theory that the strength of a Community Season 6 episode is directly proportional to how much Dean and Frankie are in the episode, and they are not in this episode very much. They are really not in this episode very much.
Yeah. No, I can get behind that for sure.
It's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think those are the characters that at this point are the most intriguing. Not that these other ones aren't also very intriguing, but we've done a lot of exploration with them, and they're in very new places. And there's already been a lot of growth with them, and it's kind of it's a little bit like, okay, where else could you go with it? And these ones, there's so much possibility. There's so much movement still stuck in them.
It just feels like the characters that the writers are most interested in telling stories about, that they feel the most potential
or
energy
at least the ones
from.
That the writers have the most fun telling stories about.
And it's kind of like, we'll use Ted Lasso, because we've all seen Ted Lasso, right? It's like, okay, we kind of did Jamie Tartt's whole thing, so he's not really in the second season as much. And we'll dip back in. We'll still tell, the odd, interesting story about him. But the second season is, like, much less about Jamie Tartt. Because we kind of did the Jamie Tartt thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's a distribution of that. It's just interesting when it's a show called Community. And there's a bunch of characters that we have been following for so long. Mm-hmm. Like, multiple seasons, right? And it's like, okay, where is this focus going to be? There's an obligation to the audience to tell the stories of the core group, but there's also like this very clear desire to tell these new stories. And finding that balance is tricky.
It's tricky. It's tricky to rock around. And this episode also is just an episode where, and I don't know why this stands out to me. Maybe it's because I'm not just like huge on the episode overall, but every time they're in the cafeteria, I am keenly aware that this is a building that doesn't have real windows. There's something about the way it's lit in this episode that I'm like, I am very aware this is on a soundstage in a way that I am not always aware. There's something about, like, the light.
That might be a thing. I am not registering it, but I'm also... I'm very forgiving with that stuff a lot of the time, especially when I'm not like in a genre where I'm like paying attention to it. Mostly because like as an actor person, I'm kind of like always just like this is where I am. Mm-hmm. So I just buy into it. I'm like, yeah, they're the cafeteria, and then you point out, and I'm like, if I go back, I'll be like, oh, I see it now.
Yeah, maybe it's just like y'all were talking about earlier with video games and theater. Maybe that's just my thing where I'm like, I can see that the lighting here belies that you are not. God, that is honestly the number one thing that is ruined for me. Is there are two things. One is when you are on a green screen at a location that is supposed to be outdoors, I am so aware that the lighting that is on the actors' faces is not outside. Like, I am just... It yanks me out of movies and TV constantly when you obviously did not film this outdoors. The other one is ADR, where like you went back in post and the actors like talked over their own dialogue, and sometimes I don't notice it because obviously it happens all the time, but once I did ADR or once I started editing dialogue for movies, that is ruined for me. And honestly, the worst is on like CW superhero shows where I'm like, guys, I know that is not like, because like the tenor of the actor's voice or like the intensity of their face does not match the voice that is coming out of their mouth.
There's a really instance of ADR that I had to argue with my friends about in The Office, where I think it's still John Krasinski, but it's during the Office Olympics episode, and he's handing out medals, and like, it's so weird. He's talking in an office full of people, and it's from a distance. He's on the other side of the room. The first 7/8 of the line is like, we have bronze, silver, and gold medals made out of these yogurt lids. and the words yogurt and lids get so weirdly like close. All of a sudden, the microphone's like right in your ear. And I only noticed it when I was listening to the show, watching it on my iPad at Mokabees with my headphones in. Because across the room, I don't think I ever noticed it. But like listening with headphones in, I was like, what? Why is he here all of a sudden?
Yeah.
And I, since then, paid more attention to that because I noticed it happening all the time.
It's so funny how this is all cycling back, because one of my favorite things about like low budget horror movies is that almost every single line is ADR'd.
Oh yeah.
And it's like obvious, and it is so funny. It's so fun.
Yeah.
It's so great because also there's also a lot of times when you can tell that the person speaking is like dropping words and it has like a thick accent or something. And then they've got this very proper speaking voice that sounds like this. And it does not match any human person ever. It's not a human. I mean, it's a person, but it does not sound like a human's voice.
For sure.
It's so put on.
It's
It's because it's like you look at it and it's like the only thing that's important is that the story is told. It doesn't need to make sense. Doesn't need to be believable. Just this story needs to be told. It's
For
so
sure. Yeah.
so
no,
fun.
it's super cool. And like I say, I notice it, but also like 90% of the Lord of the Rings trilogy is ADR, and you would never know. Like, it's imparsible until someone tells you that fact. So it's degrees. It depends on like many things. It's about execution. Isn't that interesting? Isn't it? It's not about the idea, it's about how it's executed. Isn't that something?
That's crazy.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
and that's camp.
And that's something. But this episode is fine. I don't know. What do you want to do? Rank? Is that what you want to do?
Yeah, let's rank. It's fine.
It's fine.
I low-key think the bumper is better than the episode.
Oh, the
which
bumper
kind
is excellent. Oh, the bumper is so good. Let's start with the bumper. The guy who goes to Jeff's gym. Oh, it's so funny to me. This, like, I don't know, Knight Rider kind of pastiche show concept. So funny to me. Oh my god. This one's high.
Great.
For me, I don't know. Where's another like?
Bring it closer to see.
It's so different from all these other bumpers though that it's going to make it so hard to rank.
Yeah, there are other like fake show ones and stuff like that. Where's Portuguese Gremlins? That's a good place to start because that's
We
another.
haven't done
like...
it yet.
No, we did.
It's 4.
Portuguese Gremlins is number 4.
And Yakuza 0, of course.
Yakuza 0 is an incredible title for that. I'm so
Which
proud
one's
of us.
Yakuza 0?
That's
the one where you find out that the kid that's been
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the kid that's been texting Jeff all along as Jeff. Gets the talking to from his dad.
He's like, I am now Kiyoshi, Dawn of the Yakuza. Like, it's so.
And that's how I became Oyabun, leader of the Yakuza. And you're like, wait, what the fuck?
What the fuck? So funny, so good.
That's where this was going.
So this feels like in the right zone, I think.
This is wow. I guess this is up there for the end tags.
Wow.
Number 1, Spanish rap, cartoon tunnel, Batman chat. I could put it above Pile of Bullets and Cocaine.
I was gonna say the same thing.
That sounds
I
great.
like the Pile of Bullets and Cocaine, but
I think this one beats that one. But Batman chat is just above this. Yeah, that's a good spot for me.
Goes to Jeff's gym. Beautiful. I love it. So funny. Ryan Ridley, funny guy.
Great guy.
This epi not gonna be too terribly high for me. Not gonna be too
low.
He says as he looks in the bottom 10.
I mean,
I'm not saying your idea is wrong. I'm not saying your thought.
He
is
like
wrong.
hit 75 and he went whoa.
You're like,
whoa.
it's not gonna be too high.
Let's
Looking
not
at
slow
literally
down a
the
bit.
last episode.
yeah. Let's not get out of control here. Let's not
Alright,
go
let's see.
up to the 70s.
Competitive wine tasting. I ask every time. Which one is that?
Jeff and Pierce take a wine tasting class that is also the one where Troy pretends he was molested in an acting class.
Oh god.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's how you react every time as well. It's very.
Just Kev, I almost called you Jeff. I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult.
I'll take it.
Kev, just after competitive wine tasting, put a dash and then put plop plop.
plop?
My uncle put his finger in my plop plop is a line.
See, that's not gonna remind me of it.
No, it's not. Obviously, I was like, put this here as a reminder for Jace. And then Jace was like,
Nah.
What's that?
You know, next week I'd be like, what the fuck is plop plop?
Yeah, that's why I took the one off of Romantic Expressionism or whatever, because you never remembered from my hint. It was useless.
Which one is this?
No, I'm not doing this. I'm not playing this game with you. Not playing your games, kids. Not doing this.
Fuck.
Shit. I don't know. It's probably.
Let's see. Which one's Basic Sandwich?
That is the first part of the season 5 two-parter. No, it's the second part where they go down under the tunnel and they do the Goonies treasure hunt.
Well, this one's not better than that one.
Nope.
The Goonies treasure? What?
That's where they find the old guy in the basement who's
Yes,
in love with
thank you.
Peter,
Sorry.
who has tons of money.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. This one is not as good as that.
What about last week? Last week. What about a month and a half ago? Intro to Recycled Cinema, where they make a sci-fi movie. This one's not as good as the sci-fi movie.
No, it's not as good as the sci-fi movie.
So we're going-
Isn't it?
Okay.
Isn't it?
Oh, here we go. Here's
All right,
one.
what's up?
Here's an old one. Is
Okay.
anything in this episode better than Vaughn's 2 songs in Home Economics? Remember our
No.
old measuring stick, our old friend the measuring stick.
No.
What are you talking about? Which songs?
Pierce, you're a bee. Britta,
He poo in my soul and he poo in my heart.
Those
Nope.
aren't that low.
Nope.
saying
Nothing in this
goodbye
episode is better
to
than those two.
Britta was the... So we're moving down. My oh my. My oh my, Mike Tyson. Interpretive dance.
Which one's that?
That's where Troy and Britta take a dance class. Isn't it funny that Troy is dancing? Isn't it funny that a man would dance? Isn't that funny?
I could put this one above that. It feels like we're close because that's also another episode that I remember.
Yeah, I do think this
but don't
episode,
like them.
Grifting 101, is worse than the Schmitty Kids, The Art of Discourse.
Yeah.
I
No.
prefer
At least
the
we had
Schmitty Kids.
out of Discord.
I love
I
them.
prefer the art of dance or interpretive dance over the art of discourse, but we can't change our placements.
Not
Well, we've
until
done
our
it
very
once,
special
apparently.
re-ranking episode. That's it.
Right, we are gonna do a re-rank episode where we do some like reflective.
I think so. Because, okay, so we're going to finish Community in, the end of November.
God, this episode is gonna tank
and I
this season's average.
assume that we're going to cover Witcher Season 2, I assume. But that comes out at the end of December. So we have, 4 weeks
shit,
to
already?
kill. You know what I mean? So,
Should I watch the animated? We'll get to that.
Well,
Don't
I
worry
think
about this. We
we're
need to
probably
rank
gonna cover that. So just say
Okay.
that.
Alright,
yes.
Yeah, this is gonna tank the
Tentatively.
season. But investigative journalism, the Jack Black episode. This episode is not as good as the Jack Black episode.
No, the reason I said this is gonna tank this season is I think that this one's better than Intro to Felt Surrogacy.
Whew.
But I would watch Basic Genealogy before this one.
Whew.
Which one's Basic Genealogy?
That's the Family
Ja-
Day
That's Family Day.
episode.
I also don't agree that episode is 99 out of 106 so
That's
far.
kind of crazy
Well,
low.
watch it
But
again.
Spanish one. Wow, Spanish one. It's crazy that Spanish 101's this low too.
I know, but it's like the second episode, and you go back and you
Yeah.
watch it, and you're like,
Yo,
there's
look
some.
at how many episodes. Season 4 is carrying this entire list on top of its back.
But not in the good way.
No, we
Not
got
in the good
1,
way.
3, 4, 6, 9,
Not in the-
13, and 18.
Not in the good
are
way
all
that you
in
watch
the last
Final
6
Destination
spots.
3 and you're like, Mary Elizabeth Winstead really carrying this movie on her back. It's a bad way, where everything is stacked on top of it.
Wait,
I'm
Mary
really
Elizabeth
excited that those
Winstead's in a
movies are
Final
on HBO
Destination
right now.
movie?
She is the protagonist of Final Destination 3, the Final Destination franchise, my favorite horror franchise. It's so good.
She is just the protagonist.
I love her.
I need to watch Kate. 'Cause
I
that
need to
movie
watch
looks
Kate.
fucking awesome.
I need to watch Kate.
And she's dating Ewan McGregor, so
They're having a
fucking-
baby.
Okay, but this episode
she's
is
winning.
definitely better than Heroic Origins.
Oh, damn. Well, now we're in kind of a weird. Now we're kind of in a weird zone. Because we're like, it's better than
God,
96,
bottom of the
but
list
not
is where
better
episode's
than
gonna die.
100.
We have no idea in here. But which one's Basic Story? What?
That's the first part of the two-farter where Abed is chased around by the camera, and Jeff and Britta almost get married again, and what else happens?
Social Psychology is which one?
That is the episode where Jeff and Shirley gossip about Vaughn, and Pierce has ear binoculars, and that's mostly it.
That feels like an upper limit to me.
Oh, that's the Duncan principle. That's where they test whether or not they can keep them waiting.
Okay, that one's definitely better.
Correct. Environmental science. Environmental science, if nothing else, has the somewhere out there sing along. So that's up there. But basic story, I think we're in the right zone here for basic story, heroic origins.
So new 95.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
At least this has Matt Berry. You know what I mean? You're like, well, it's got that going for it. What's episode this season?
This is
9. Oh, that's gonna.
This is so different.
It's really gonna fuck up the overall rankings. But hey, this is the game. You know, we're not here to make season 6 win. We're here to be objective journalists about ranking episodes of TV.
That means, right? Yeah,
exactly. It's so funny that like I can fit the end tag ranking and the episode ranking on one screen. I can fit because it's so low and so high respectively. That's fucking incredible. Well, while I'm plugging this into the overall season ranker, why don't y'all give us some dang pluggy plugs?
Well, you plug, we plug.
That's right, and y'all start the plugs first because I'm typing and I can't think that complexly.
What do I have to plug? Oh, I'm dying over here. I don't have anything in particular to plug. I think it's a wild time. There's people that are doing some cool stuff in places. I have no idea. Like if you
cool stuff in places.
If you have friends that make art, support your friends.
That's funny.
Pay your friends that are artists. I think that's a fun little note for me to leave it on. Yeah, support your artist friends.
Hell yeah.
That's my plug.
Is that it? That's your plug?
Yeah, I think so. Also, if you're trans, I love you, but that's the basics.
But yeah, I've got a season of podcast that's about Halo that I did with my grandma that I'm actually finishing up editing. That's going to come out, and hopefully all the episodes out before Halo comes out.
That's so cute.
Yeah, my grandma's the shit. She came over on Sunday after a barbecue with me and my buddy Jabril and my family, and sat outside with me and my buddy Jabril for like 4 hours discussing like socialism, communism, Trumpism,
Halo.
It was a good conversation.
And Halo.
No,
I was not a part of that conversation.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
But
yeah.
no, it was great. It was so good that my in-laws' neighbors today, while I was outside smoking, were like, "Hey, just want to let you know, like, y'all are really smart and like talk about things really well." And I was like, "Oh, shit! I didn't intend to bore you the whole time." They were like, "Yeah." They were like, "You're lucky to have a grandparent that's willing to like learn and change." And I was like, "Oh, trust me, I know. My parents are not." But anyway, yeah, doing that show with my grandma. It's called Procedural Generations. If you want to listen to what we have so far out, you can look it up. Huh?
That's a cute name.
Sounds
thanks. My wife came up with that shit. So I
way to go, wifey.
Yeah, she absolutely nailed that one. Other than that, I don't know, man. I'm gonna try and like make more reviews and stuff. I'm finishing up Sable hopefully in the next couple of days, and again, the list of games that I mentioned, I'll have something to say about all of them. So, Nerdy Bits. Check out the Nerdy Bits show. Check out Bounty Board. Check out nerdybits.com. Them's my plugs.
Ooh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I will remind y'all, patreon.com/TVsKevin. For as little as $1 a month, you get a whole bunch of extra podcasts and bonus shit. I'm going to be posting soon the first 4,000 words of a short story. That is a Witcher parody short story. I'll be posting that here soon up on there for $1 a month patrons. And all kinds of extra bonus shit like that. That is mostly it at the moment. I'm making a movie, but I have nothing to show for that at the moment. You know what I mean? Can't point to that yet, but I'm doing it. And also, if you go on my Patreon, you can help me do that. Money is good in this scenario.
It's crazy.
Making a self-funded feature film is a little bit.
I can't say I know what it's like doing that for a feature film, but I can say I know what it's like attempting to do that with a musical, and woof.
And woof. So yeah.
Self-production is
bork.
So yeah,
if you'd like to
support your artist friends.
If you'd like to see it sooner rather than later, that is the place to do it. Patreon.com/TVsKevin, and I'll be posting some more screenshots and short stories and hopefully some more bonus podcasts, but we'll see. And also, if you enjoyed this podcast, if you want to say, hey, I enjoyed that. So that would be great. TV's Kevin Lanigan on all this stuff. We are the Greendale Three on all this stuff. People keep asking me, what show are we covering next? I will say, I don't know. We have ideas. We have ideas.
Witcher 2.
Witcher Season 2 we are definitely doing. But then that is only like 10 episodes. So we'll have to
We've had a couple ideas.
We have ideas.
Yeah, what's that show with Fillion?
Firefly? Yeah, we threw out Firefly. I don't know if I want to talk about Joss. I maybe regret that. Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, I am weirdly interested in talking about. We'll figure it out. Don't you worry.
Figure it out. What do y'all want us to watch?
What do you want to hear?
What do you want to hear?
Yeah. The only thing I love more than not being able to make a decision myself is letting somebody else make a decision for me.
Yeah. So let us know. We probably won't until 2022 have to cover a full new show in earnest. But let us know. Or I don't know, we might have a bonus episode or two that are not. I don't know.
I feel like we could also do movies. I feel like we could do movies.
I would be interested in certain like a franchise or something. I think it could be fun. I don't know if we did Fast and the Furious or some horse shit.
I knew you were gonna say that.
We should make Kev watch all the Star Wars movies.
Ew.
You should make me watch all the Star Wars movies.
Ew.
I think I have, but
I've seen almost all of them. I think 2 of them are pretty good. I think 2 of them are pretty good movies. Which 2 I'll never say, except for all the podcasts where I've said it.
I'll never tell.
Last Jedi, best one. Come at me, nerds. I'll fucking fight you in the street.
Fight you. Yeah.
Do not
Which
give a
one?
shit. The Last Jedi is the best one.
That's an objective truth if you have a brain.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's just it's the best one. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everyone. Anyway, time to make everyone mad at the end of a podcast.
Woo-hoo!
My favorite activity to do. We'll be back next week with a fucking weird episode. What weird episode we're about to cover. So strange. Cannot wait to unpack it with these two. I forgot to mention, once we're done with this community podcast, I'm going to start working in earnest on this community book I've been pitching for a year. Patreon.com/TVsKevin if you want to help me do that. But until next week, pop.
And also with you. I get it. Just Caleb, you going, what the fuck?
I was like, yeah, wait.
It did a fucking boss nass.
Just feels right.
Yeah.
And also with you.
And time to go play Hades until I fall asleep.
Moonlight, bleeding glass and healing needles, amputated hearts are never whole. Too bright, dreaming as the screaming seagulls feed on parts of me I keep below. Oh, go right, take off your boat, let me go the way you've been.
Fly overhead, buffalo, solid.
That old podcast gold. We all know it. I'm rolling in it because of podcasting, as you can see, obviously by my illustrious setup. Yes, but there is. I mean, we were talking about Sharpling and Julie Klausner and all these people that seem to only be entertaining themselves. But obviously it's entertaining to everyone else, but they are not concerned with whether or not it's entertaining to us. They just also have the good fortune of it being entertaining to us, right? It happens to be that what is entertaining to them is, at least to me, also entertaining. I feel the same way a lot about Scott Aukerman and Paul F. Tompkins and Lauren Lapkus, especially when they are together in any combination. Yes. Or Scott Aukerman and Adam Scott on their various shows. It feels like they are not concerned with whether I, the listener, am enjoying myself. They just happen to be funny.
Yes, and there's such a joy to it, especially with like Talking You Two to Me and like all of the REM stuff. It's like,
are you talking heads to my talking head?
Yes, yeah. Like you clearly tell that it means so much to them, and they enjoy sharing it with both each other, but also trying just in general to kind of get other people into it. But it just seems like it's so fun to listen to people having fun in general, and I feel like all of those people, I always just have fun being around, just kind of like seeing, and while I've kind of rediscovered Community, it's just been fun to just hang out with these people again, and then adding this extra third element, or this extra kind of like X element of Matt Berry into it.
Oh my God,
it's so funny because you were saying.
Go ahead.
What's your contact with Matt Berry in general?
So Matt Berry, I'd seen scant IT crowd here and there. I think in 2015, when this episode drops, I have little or no context for who Matt Berry is, but I am now a #1 fan of What We Do in the Shadows, the television show.
Obviously, IT crowd is usually the one that people have seen him in, or just like he kind of had his different.
And I know Dark
cameos.
Place. I've seen a little Toast of London. I am somewhat familiar with Matt Berry, but it is a world I need to explore more deeply. But his performance as Laszlo on What We Do in the Shadows is, that show is unbelievable. That show is so goddamn funny. And he is exceptional always. I don't feel like I've ever seen him and be like, oh, I don't like this guy.
He's never been someone that you've been disappointed to see pop up on a screen. But What We Do in the Shadows, especially now, is a incredible use of him, and like his whole ethos, his whole timing, his pattern, like everything. Community too, I think, gets a lot of really, really fun stuff out of him.
I think they know how to use him. They know how to like run that track, and I feel like there's something that unlocks on What We Do in the Shadows now that they can drop a full fuck in an episode. Like they give it to him and he uses it like a fucking surgeon.
And he's just, again, that voice coupled with just his line reads are just the most it's the most gonzo choice that you can make, period. Usually, like he's always taken the biggest possible swing ever.
Not a subtle performer.
But it's also you completely tell that it's like it's what works with him, and it's what he's figured out. Toast of London too, especially, I think you would really, really like. It's all on Netflix right now, and it's another one where it's just like it's a lot of stuff that's kind of inside baseball sometimes, like with the theater stuff, with the British theater scene, but just in general, you can tell that it's just something that he really cares about in general, and also cares enough about to just like completely nail it to the wall anytime that he can and does, and it's so funny. Dark Place 2, I think, is another it's a sort of broader example of how he can work, but it's another great example of how a show can really love a genre or really love something specific to that era, and then just be like, well, we can just do that now if we want, and then they did it. Because there's a lot of theme episodes. There's a lot of like behind the scenes interstitial stuff, which also kind of spawned its own weird like side universe, like side comedy universe with Richard Ayoade and like all these other characters.
Absolutely.
But it's just great. At the time, I was very into British comedy, and Dark Place was a show. Do you know anything about how it was aired in the U.S. at all?
Oh, I mean, I wasn't even aware that it was aired in the U.S. I would assume it was buried at 3 a.m. on PBS.
Well, it's funny you say that, because the first time I saw it, it was like, I want to say it was 2010, and it was on Sci-Fi or Sci-Fi.
Oh, of course.
But it was at 4 a.m. It
right.
was very, very late, and I thought it was a real show, because when you start to watch it, if listeners haven't seen it, please Christ seek it out. I think it's on Prime now.
Yeah, I think it just dropped on Prime. It's on my list, but they just keep throwing new shows at me with like a fucking discus thrower from like the first X-Men movie when they're montaging like Cyclops' powers.
Yes. Yeah, when it shows that like that 3-minute thing to like, here's how they became X-Men.
And it's like I still like it's like, okay, I finally watched Ted Lasso, and I finally caught up on Mythic Quest today, and then I'm like, well, shit. Squid Game, and then fuck, I'm only 2 episodes into Foundation, and I've only watched 1 episode of Underground Railroad, and like I'm trying.
I've been trying to watch Foundation in like 20-minute chunks, like in between
Maybe
like what
ideal.
I'm doing just around the house. It's just what I've been doing. It's just like I'll get to a certain point and be like, okay, I'll watch it until Lee Pace shows up, and then I'll stop, and then I'll come back to it and be like, okay, well now I'll just watch it until
I'll watch whatever the Lee Pace part is. Yeah. Right.
But Dark Place 2 has such a weird, distanced relationship between like itself and an audience, because when it aired, it was kind of reviled by the people that were airing it, because like I think it was like BBC
something
4,
community fans know nothing about,
absolutely.
has no bearing to the show we are talking about, of course.
And it's one of those because it wasn't on like one of the main BBCs, it was on one of their weirder ones, and it's Matthew Holiness and Richard Ayoade and Matt Berry, and it's basically like a parody of, it's like a Stephen King kind of guy who's written all of these like chillers, and then he tried to make a TV show in the 80s, but they canned it after 1 season. So the general concept of the show is like everybody that was on the show has gotten together and they've reconstructed the episodes, and they're going to finally show them to people with all these interviews. But like I said, I saw it on the pit of night on Sci-Fi, and I thought it was a real show, because it's made in such a way that you're not quite sure if it's supposed to be funny, but it's very funny, and it's very ineptly made in such a way that it's like there's a lot of boom mics and jump cuts, but it's all deployed in the non-hacky, like non-punching down sort of way. So after a while I was like, okay, well I kind of get what this is going for. Like, it's just a weird show, there's this guy, I haven't read any of these books, I really want to now. And then it just went away. I never saw it again.
They just stopped airing it at 4 a.m. for whatever reason.
Because there's only like 8 to 10 of them made, I think.
It's a British television show, so
yes.
And even they made 4 seasons, 10 total episodes.
Yes, 10 total episodes. It ran for 18 years. But one of the funnier things about it is that the creator, Matthew Holiness, has like openly said they're never going to put it on a DVD that Americans can see. They're never going to put it on a Blu-ray. They hate this. They hate that they aired it, and they hate that we made it. And so they want to do whatever they can to make sure that nobody saw it. But cut to, like, I think 3 or 4 years later, Adult Swim gets the rights to it. And then they finally show it properly. And it was the first time that I had seen it, because I think they show it over a week, and then they just kept recycling the episodes into their rotation. And then I realized, like, oh, this is a show. This is a bunch of comedians. And then I started kind of tracing the dots to like IT Crowd, Black Books. A lot of people from Black Books also are peppered through this. But IT Crowd was the main thing that hooked me onto Barry. And then I found out, do you know anything about Matt Berry's music career?
I recently, you know how computers are always watching us. I was recommended a Matt Berry song at approximately the time where I was like tweeting about and watching Community episodes that featured Matt Berry. Talking about Matt, saying the word Matt Berry out loud. It went into a microphone. The microphone told Spotify. And so I was recently recommended a song of his, and I was like, this is a classic, like, British jam. This sounds
and that's the thing. Like, I definitely kind of glommed onto him for his comedy, you know, his very particular way of performing, and the stuff that he seemed to think was funny within like Dark Place and Toast of London. But then I discovered this entirely separate career basically that Matt Berry has as a musician. And I find out that he's incredibly talented. He's played there's one record in particular, I think it's Opium or Witch Hazel, one of his first two records. He played every single instrument. It's no session musicians. It's just him in a studio layering tracks by himself, and he plays everything. And then he starts to make. He did a record here recently that's more of a joke record, but it's called Theme Tunes, and it's just him singing phonetically different theme tunes. And like he does Doctor Who, he does Last of the Summer Wine, and it's just literally him going ba-da-da, and it's like vocal renditions of all of these theme tunes. And then somebody asked him about it, like, why would you do that? He's like, oh yeah, these were just all the TV shows that I watched whenever I was a kid and a teenager. I thought it would be funny to just re-record all of their so him being announced that he was going to be in Community really made me excited. And then when I finally watched the episode, I was like, oh yeah, they absolutely get it. They know exactly how and why he's funny, and they're just going to let him do it. Absolutely. It's a remarkably reserved performance from him.
Yeah, it seems restrained by the usual lengths you see Matt Berry go. But God, I do love an artist who just seems to follow their weird bliss wherever that might take them, you know. And to a certain degree, like Donald Glover is another person like that, where he's like, I'm gonna go do a TV show, and it's kind of a comedy, and it's also not, like, it's also
devastatingly
like
sad
and fucked up and societally relevant. And also I'm gonna go do some music, and the music is going to vary so wildly from album to album to album. I'm going to make like a 90s rap throwback album. I'm going to make an album of R&B that like my parents would have listened to, you know. And he
still think about that R&B album sometimes, and I'm like, he got away with that. He just did that. And it's incredible.
It's completely unbelievable.
it's really, really
I mean,
good
just
record.
like what a phenomenal fucking record. And I love someone that I can just like follow. If Donald Glover wrote a book, I'm like, sure, I'll buy that book. Whatever.
Absolutely.
Whatever. Okay. So if that's what you think that I need to read, then okay. Then that's what I'll do.
But just in my own kind of personal rediscovery of the show, and especially finishing season 5, which is very much a transitional season, but also one where it's them finding their legs again, they're finding their joke rate again, their patter. And then season 6, which is them just kind of, I'm very anxious to see it all as one entity, but this one in particular, just like going so hard on just like, this is a big, heavy conceptual episode. It's going to be very odd in parts.
So odd. It's going to be an homage to a movie that you probably have not thought about in a long time, if ever. It's going to star
our main characters actively hate. They
hold in contempt the movie the episode is an homage to.
I totally forgot that entire sequence where like they finally just say like, well, let's just watch this thing, and then they watch it, and then at the end they're just like, yeah, fuck that. I don't know what we were supposed to get from that.
On?
Just construction. We're just supposed to invest in a lot of construction. vision, I guess. And that whole runner with Elroy trying to just be like, well, I didn't like it when it was popular, and then trying to track why they're doing that, and also why they're doing everything in the first place as a study group. It's just, it's a really, really good episode, and it works so shockingly well just as a contained, like 24, 28 minutes.
For sure.
I don't ever.
No, Community Season 6 does, and I love it, obviously. I mean, listeners of the show have heard me talk about it endlessly. By the way, this is the interview portion of Advanced Community Studies, and I'm once again joined by...
I did it again!
I am once again joined by a friend of the show, Justin Partridge, who, if you remember his last appearance, we had to break it into a separate episode.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry, guys.
No, please.
I'm so sorry.
This is what they crave. This is what... We only have 5 episodes left. So, like, I think, fans of this show... Fans of the show, we're trying to wring the rag, like, everything we can get out of it. You know what I mean?
How much have you primed the pump of just pivoting fully into Lost?
Oh, God.
Because I was going to mention,
I
restarted Lost.
Okay.
It's still fucking rips.
Also excellent. Also fucking... So, like, I did a Lost rewatch that ended earlier this year. It took, like, a year and a half. Because I was, like, doing other things.
I feel like I remember this tangentially.
And it's fucking spectacular. It's still so good. Thing about Lost.
I finally convinced my wife to watch it because she knew nothing about it. Completely blank. Missed her completely. She was aware of it when it was on.
Because it was a phenomenon, right?
And that's the thing. She was like, I remember like ads and stuff and seeing it in magazines, but I just never watched it. And I was like, oh, honey, you are gonna fucking love it.
Baby.
So we finally did sit down and watch it, and we're into season 2. I'm pretty sure it's the first Ana Lucia episode too. But while we're watching it, I'm having the arc of going like, fuck, I remember this, I remember that. They're setting up all of this stuff. I'm remembering all the dynamics. It's popping so well for me. And she even was like, this show? I had no fucking idea. There's a monster, and there's hatches, and there's technology, and there's like a weird statue person, because she's now started to Google stuff that, like, if she gloms onto a character or if something kind of piques her interest, she'll Google it a little bit to see like pictures. So she's seen the Sobek statue, but she has no context for it. Right. She's seen the beach where the Man in Black and what's his name from Jacob. Supernatural, who's from I'm forgetting
Mark Pellegrino.
Yes, yeah, famed genre actor Mark
Pellegrino. Two of your finest journeyman television actors. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, I don't know. I've seen those guys in like one movie, but they've been on every TV show.
And even like the guy that played Richard Alpert, fucking Jeremy
Mayor
Davey,
Batman.
when he pops up, like she knows none of this stuff.
Everyone who's ever been on Deadwood, it's just
that too, and just, like all of these.
MC Gainey. Like,
I'm so excited for MC Gainey and like Jeff Fahey and like all of these character actor royalties. Oh god, it's so good. But no,
they hit stop comment. Don't stop comment. Everyone knows the Smash Mouth line.
Once again, welcome back to Talking Lost. Where
exactly. Another 6th season, excellent show. It's so long. There's a lot of it.
Yes,
and they're long episodes. It's all excellent. It's all good. And like, God, if you're not in on like the first like 8 episodes of season 1 of Lost,
and that's
just like the strongest I've ever seen a television show.
And that's the thing. She was like, I knew there was an island. I knew they were fucking lost on it. I didn't know anything else. It just totally sucked her in, and it totally sucked me back in too. Just kind
100%.
Of the same way that Community did. It's just like functional.
There's something about it
really
that just
strong.
Fucking goes. It just
absolutely
works. There's a quality to there's just a baseline acting, writing, directing, production design quality to it that you're like, this is just so watchable and enticing. And even if I don't like every decision they make, there's just something about, I feel like I trust this, You know what I mean? Like,
and the character dynamics are so strong that you're willing to just watch it because you're hanging out with your friends. You're watching these people do stuff, and you're in like kind of community along. I truly love that every time we start to talk about this, we just immediately talk about Lost.
Yeah, always. Good.
But it being so infused within the genres that it's doing, because like Lost does this constantly throughout its run. It just veers wildly in tone. It does different genres. And Community, especially in season 6, is kind of taking these bigger swings. Yeah. And this one just fully being like, okay, we're gonna do Altman, we're gonna do hard case crime, we're gonna do all of these weird spinner rack paperbacks about grifters that we all liked. And I also forgot this is a Ryan Ridley script.
That's right.
I'd forgotten that Ridley at this point was writing full episodes.
Because like Rick and Morty season 1 is out at this point, and
I think so.
And Ridley, I guess, he's on season 1 of Rick and Morty, obviously, and you can hear him as well as hear his words, but you hear him speak many times. And he must have he's ingratiated himself into that fold, the harmonious claptrap.
He's got a perfect cartoon voice.
He really does. There's just a quality.
And I had forgotten that he's in the tag too, as the guy from Jeff's Gym.
Exceptional. The tags on this season are on another level.
That's part of the reason that I'm very excited for this one, because one of the true joys of rediscovering season 5 was how good those tags were.
For sure. And we obviously love Troy, but when Troy leaves, the end tags
I still wept again.
Adapt. The end tags they know they have to transform. So they transform into this completely untethered sub-narrative, and especially on the Yahoo season where they don't have run times to meet. It's like, here's a 2-minute end tag. It's the trailer for Portuguese Gremlins.
Yes, or even because they even start to do it. I forgot about the Kugler trailer being a full tag of season 5, or the LeVar Burton and Troy last tag where he asks all those questions about Star Trek. There was another really good one. I meant to write it down, but it was just like them just taking the biggest possible swings, but also still being the show in general with these new characters, even still. Because I'd forgot, or I knew that Frankie kind of shows up a little bit in season 5, as she has an ancient Windows that
the
computer
oldest computer for an IT lady imaginable.
I love and she's just surrounded by empty banks and just the unplugged banks.
So funny. So good.
But it just totally just folding her and Elroy completely into their own dynamic, and also building out everybody else's. The fact that Abed is now still Abed, but he's a lot more assertive. And the fact that Annie is now just fully embracing her own chaos, which is hysterical.
Absolutely.
And Britta in a weird Fred Perry capped sleeve, which I thought was a very good look for her.
Yes.
But it's just it's so refreshing it's really heartening to me to kind of see that the show itself is still good, and it's still the show that I really loved, even if I was kind of feeling a little bit burned out on it at the time.
For sure. And I think a lot of Community fans who were watching as it happened, I've talked to a lot of people where that happened, where it's just the up and down roller coaster nature of constantly feeling like you have to save this show. You personally, with your own 2 hands, have to save this show. I think it wore everybody down, so by the time they got to Yahoo Screen, I think a lot of people lost a lot of juice, which is completely understandable. I think, so there's a couple pins I'm going to try and hit on the way back. Lost is definitely a show I want to do a podcast about. I think we're going to do some shorter stuff first. You know what I mean? Things that are not a full 6-season commitment, because Lost has 120 some odd episodes or something, and even if we did 2 a week, that's another over a year commitment.
You also have EU stuff. You've got the video game.
Lost Via Domus, which we gotta do.
I've actually never played it. I really want to.
You shouldn't. Don't play it. You should not. It's a terrible game. My friend who watched Lost for the first time during quarantine, and we did a special like bonus podcast about that on this feed. If anybody wants to listen to that,
this is what I think. I'm pretty sure I've heard this.
Yeah, and he watched it for the first time. He loved it, which is great. And but he did like a stream where he started playing that video game, and he was like, "This is unplayable." I mean, you have to either like pirate it or find an old like Xbox 360 copy.
Someone else played it, and you can just watch it. Or
yeah,
like
I think watching it on YouTube, watch like 100% run of Los Viadomas. It will take like 2 hours. Like it's barely a game. It's like it's some indie game the movie shit. It's barely a game.
Man.
And it just
makes me want to play it more. I'm so sorry. It just
okay,
makes me
well,
play it more.
I understand. I do understand that. I love a bizarre cast-off piece of terrible pop cultural ephemera. I love a bad
100%.
idea that is now preserved in the era of hindsight. I don't like it when it's happening, but I love hindsight.
There are a couple of Doctor Who games that are like that. They made like 3 or 4 weird adventure games during the Matt Smith era that you could get for free if you lived in Britain, and you can like download them from the
Came in the
BBC
mail
website
with samples of Tide.
And the last time I saw them, this is no bullshit. This was in the before times, obviously. I was at a Walmart and I saw that they had a pack of them packaged with something else that was like some other license. I think it was like the fucking Independence Day video games or something. It was something weird. I wanted so bad to buy it, but I was like, if I just buy this, I'm not going to have a place to install it, so I'm just going to have this weird stack of 10 discs that I can't play.
Right. I mean, that is, and unfortunately that is the difference between you and me, where like I would absolutely, with no space to put it and no way to play it,
grab it immediately.
I'm just like, I'm sorry, I must possess this. And as someone who recently moved, I've come to like regret all of those
Absolutely.
like novelty purchases.
That's always a very, very sobering day when you start to immediately get it, and you're like, I don't remember anything.
You
about
see your
this.
whole life like in front of you. Like, is this it? Is this what I've done? Is this that the book I own that is an adaptation of Joss Whedon's X-Men written by Peter David? Is this worth schlepping to? And it was.
Actually, yeah.
I have it. It's over there.
That would also be something that I would immediately buy.
Had to keep. You know, like, am I ever going to? I'm reaching behind me to my bookshelf. Am I ever going to reread Soul Searchers and Company, written by Peter David, drawn by Amanda Connor? Am I ever going to reread this? Probably not. It is unavailable anywhere else. So, like, almost as a historian, I have to hold on to this book.
It should be.
I have to preserve this for future generations.
My whole thing is, especially with like my dismembered boss, I'm like, anything you don't want, fucking pack it in a box and send it my way, because I will definitely want it.
Please give me your crap. Give me your useless, tossed off pop culture. I'll feel very Griffin Newman in that way. I'm like, send it to me. I'll take whatever horse shit.
But like you said, there's a curation element to it where you're just like, I now have this, where at some point, if I ever get low enough,
I am the librarian.
I can go to a shelf. Christ.
Exactly.
I truly cannot imagine what kind of, I don't even know if it's a lateral move or a downward move to have Peter David be adapting Joss Whedon's comic book.
That just feels like... what is Leonard? I know about your nose job. It was a lateral move. You know, like, it's really just like, I mean, I guess as far as I know, I mean, I'm not here to rank crimes, but like, as far as I know, Peter David has not like sexually assaulted anyone. You know what I mean? Like, as far as I know,
it's a two-way tie for last.
Exactly. Like, who am I to pick either? Whoever wins, we lose. You know, Alien versus Predator, literally. But it's Predator versus Predator. But anyway, and Lost and Community, both 6-season television shows, each season has a distinct identity.
Oh,
each
1,000,000%.
season has a like you watch a season of Lost and you're like, okay, this is the Hatch season, this is the Others season, this is the Freighter season, this is the time travel season, and this is the weird final season. You know, like it has a distinct identity. And Community season 6, the thing that I can kind of think of to compare it to is like it feels like Spike from Cowboy Bebop, where it's like a show that's like, I shouldn't be alive right now. I should not exist.
It's like an entire season of Victory Laps at 100%.
So it's like, fuck it, we're gonna do whatever we want. We're gonna do a crazy Lawnmower Man VR episode. We're gonna do the Sting homage episode, and that's what we're gonna do.
And it feels like the jokes. The one major thing I was really struck with watching the episode, especially because I finished 5, and then I realized that I wasn't going to have time to watch up till Grifting, so I was just like, okay, I'll just skip to Grifting, and I'll come back to season 6 in a little bit. And I was just struck at just how completely different it looks visually. Like it looks far sharper, and it looks far deeper just in terms of shot composition, but not in such a way that like breaks it, or it's not in such a way that makes it feel, because I kind of felt that way in the transition between 3 and 4 too, in the opposite way, where it becomes a little too slick, and it becomes like there are moments where
it's like they sanded the edges up.
Yes.
It's like 100%. They put, and they did, you know, not visually, but like kind of conceptually put the like smeary soap opera filter over the show.
Yeah, and it looks kind of generic, and it looks kind of like definitely a little too saturated. And then it shifts in from going to 4 to 5, and it shifts back in the better direction. And then it feels like, especially into 6, not only, like you were saying, it gets more conceptually kind of more loopy, it gets more specific in its humor, but also it just seems like at this point they definitely know what the show is supposed to look like and what Greendale especially is supposed to look like visually. And now they finally have the leeway and budget, I mean, probably, in order to do it finally. So it finally looks like the cartoonish, kind of slightly like heightened version that you feel like they're slapping at in the first 3 seasons. But it just feels like this is finally what it's supposed to look and sound like.
Absolutely. And it always feels defined. It doesn't feel slapdash. It doesn't. It feels thoughtful, even if I don't always know the thought process or you know whether or not their actual ideas are what I am seeing on screen. It feels purposeful and directed in that way. And I mean, listeners of the show have heard me go on about this season over and over again, but there's just something about it in its many different things working together, right? Like, as much as I am sad to see Donald Glover and Yvette Nicole Brown leave the show for various reasons, like, I mean, Paget Brewster and Keith David are here, and they really are throwing heat, and like you seem like they seem to really get it. Like, they understand the position that they're being put in. They're filling out the rest of the study group. People, it's the show itself. The show itself has been in a lot of transition. The cast itself is in a lot of transition. The writers' room is always in flux, and it just seems like David especially. Even though Paget is just first, I would like to buy her an incredible pasta dinner. Yeah, I would take Paget Brewster out for a pasta dinner. Real nice pasta dinner.
Please let me ask you about your Upright Citizens team, and let me buy you pasta dinner.
Let me ask you about Andy Richter Controls the Universe.
Yes,
we'll have a delicious pasta dinner.
And also, like, you've been on Broadway like at least a dozen times. Like, you're literal royalty.
Another one of those people that you're like, she can probably do it all, I guess.
And incredibly talented, and just it makes no big deal about it. It's just like she shows up, she performs, she can do everything.
She can casually be on 200 episodes of Criminal Minds.
Yeah, and that too. And then she also was on a CBS procedural for nearly a decade.
And then she'll just like pop up and narrate a drunk history segment. You know, like
so insane.
She'll hit it all.
David, I think, especially kind of understands Elroy's narrative function. Not only just comedically, but I also feel like they, like you said earlier, they really, really define everything to the sharpest possible point in season 6. And it just seems like, I don't know, I think I'll feel this way kind of watching it from the very beginning again, but it just feels like it's just victory laps. They finally have the room and kind of the creative space to do what they really, really wanted to do. And what they wanted to do was the guy from Jeff's Gym and like an entire thing about the Sting and like all of these weird...
It feels so like, they are finally out from underneath the thumb of the Sony Pictures Corporation or NBC. They are finally out from underneath that. No one is watching them. It feels like they're getting away with something. It feels like they know they've like tricked everyone into giving them this season, giving them a slightly higher budget, like letting them run wild.
And it seems like it's definitely translated well into their performances too. Like it feels like there is no pressure to really be not only Community, but also be the successful thing for NBC and for Sony. And you can really tell that like these are now finally, it's not like they're flippant, because like you said, they're like the stories are very defined, or the stories are very directioned, and the jokes are too, but it's also, it seems like now they don't have to sweat doing conceptual episodes, or they don't have to sweat doing, or they don't have to at least like prepare for a fight to do all of the stuff that they really, really want to do. And it just seems like everybody, performance-wise, they feel it. And it comes through really, really well into, especially in like even the Mikhail's performance. That bit in the cafeteria when they've realized that what? It's just like all of this fun stuff that it's just like you're just like, there was a time in which Joel McHale was an incredible lead of a ensemble television show and was able to just like comfortably be confident and funny and charming and not also worry about like, oh, what's my 4-quadrant appeal, or what am I going to do now? What is this going to lily pad me into like features and stuff? It just feels really, it feels so easy in season 6.
Yes, it feels breezy. I think everyone is kind of just, I think there is a feeling that is across at least the cast, probably the writers, that they're like, there's probably not going to be any more of this. This is probably it. And like several members of the main cast film other pilots in the middle of this season. You know, Ken filmed Dr. Ken, Danny Pudi filmed Powerless.
God, I forgot about Powerless.
Those are all happening. I feel like Allison and Gillian at this point have already lined up their respective Netflix shows. And
also, is Scream 5 is also around this time, right?
Or Scream, is it 5? Is it 4?
Or 4, it's 4. Scream 5 is the one that's coming out. I'm sorry. I apologize. Scream Ghostface fans.
The Wes Craven, the Craven heads they're fucking...
Actually, my wife just came in and was just like, no, come on. There's only 4 Scream movies.
What letter would the 5 even take a place of, huh? You ever think about that?
That's something I didn't even think of, that they're hopping from like different thing to different thing also while doing this wrap up season to Community. But yeah, it kind of feels like there is kind of an air of finality to it, but then that also it just seems to make them more almost like they're just like, okay, well now we can just leave it on the floor. We don't have to worry about
leave it all in the court.
It's us and the audience, and like that's it. So if we can make us laugh and we can make the audience laugh, that's what we're gonna do.
And Yahoo Screen, you know, because there's all these points where it's like between every season, you know, there's all this pressure, like you need to grow the audience, like your rabid fan base is fine, but it is minimal. You know, it is not, you're not bringing in the numbers we need you to bring in, right? And so, like, there's all that pressure, and I feel like when you're jumping from NBC Thursday nights to Yahoo Screen on Tuesday, you maybe realize that pressure no longer exists. You don't feel the need to, it's like the best comedy show you've ever done, or maybe even the best one you've ever seen, was not Friday night at the Comedy Cellar. It was Tuesday at 11 p.m. in a basement somewhere where no one feels the pressure and everyone is just having the time of their lives, you know? And everyone from the audience to the cast is just completely on the same page of like, this, we are just gonna cut loose and we're gonna leave it all out here, and no one is getting a new job off of what we're doing here.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like you said, there's little to no expectation for this season especially, and it feels so for them, but also it's just like after an entire production schedule or an entire like production cycles of also being shuffled and being on the bubble and being like you have a gun to your head every single year, us and the cast and the crew, and just like, is it coming back? Is this the last time we're going to do it? We need to make sure that this episode at least feels like a finale, so if it does get cut off at the knees, we have sort of a satisfying thing. And now it's just like, fuck it, we're online, we can do whatever we want, there's no real expectation. I mean, really, because I don't know if they'd even did like audience metrics or any sort of like rating metrics for it for
allegedly. I mean, like, all of these online streaming platforms, their data is so dicey because they are not, unlike all of television, which is required to release metrics, whether, you know, who knows how good they are, but like they're required to release viewership numbers for every hour of the day. Streamers, you don't hear from them unless Netflix is like 40 million people
watch something specific
our
that they
newest
need to crow
piece
about.
Of crap that no one saw, but 40 million people they saw. And I believe those numbers as far as I can throw them, you know what I mean? Because they can just say them, they can just say
absolutely.
But allegedly
it's sugar and water, you can't hold on to it. But it just seemed like, again, I'm very, very excited to see all of season 6 as a cohesive block.
Yeah.
But it seemed like this one in particular was just like, here's what we think is funny, here's the things that we're gonna be making fun of, and that's, you can either get on board or you can't. We've got Matt Berry and he's really funny, but it's also, this is what we're doing, and that's it.
We're Community, so we didn't book, you know, the biggest comedy star of the day. We booked Matt Berry because we like Matt Berry, and that's the way we do business over here. Allegedly, Yahoo was like, tens of millions of people are watching Community every week. I don't know. Again, who knows about these numbers? But allegedly, like, you know, when the show was on NBC, it was like bottoming out at like 2 million people, and then Yahoo was like, actually tens of millions of people are watching it all the time. Allegedly, it didn't save Community or Yahoo Screen.
Because then I feel like I remember that narrative even then shifting further to just like, oh well, now Community is so expensive, it's now killed the very thing that hosted it. And we talked about this a little bit last episode. I really don't feel like you can kind of put that on Community's
all
feet.
Community did was not make Yahoo Screen, because it's not as if Yahoo Screen was an established platform that we all used. When Community arrives on Yahoo Screen, it has 2 shows. It has Other Space, the Paul Feig Star Trek pastiche, and it has, of course, Sin City Saints, the show where Malin Ackerman manages a Las Vegas basketball team. Two shows that no one has ever seen.
Your favorite and mine, Sin City Saints.
Sin City Saints. You don't gotta tell me about Sin City Saints. And it, like, when Community arrives, that is all that Yahoo Screen has to offer. And yes, it is a free platform, but like, come on. No one is going to Yahoo and is using their online video service. The only people that did were either A, critics who needed to review these shows,
screeners, yes,
or B, Community fans. And so all Community did was not make Yahoo Screen. It's not as if you could even save it, because there was nothing to save. It was all Community did was not build it into a juggernaut, because of course it didn't. Because like you need more than that.
The last-ish season of a cult hit that never ever topped out at cult hits.
You didn't buy Big Bang Theory, you bought Community. And so you got what you paid for. And, you know, I'm endlessly thankful to Yahoo Screen for giving us this final season that you can now watch on Hulu or Netflix or Amazon Prime, much more successful online video services. But I mean, Community was never going to... Like when Netflix said we're doing Arrested Development Season 4, Netflix had other shows. Like, at that point, you could watch Orange is the New Black on Netflix. At that point, you could watch Hemlock Grove on Netflix.
Yes, and it had already, like, kind of gathered that sort of, like, awards cash and that sort of, like, kind of, like, prestige. Like,
exactly. Netflix was getting Emmy noms by the time Arrested Development Season 4 arrives on Netflix. And Yahoo Screen never did.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'd never really connected those dots before, where it's just like because just from my point of view, I absolutely got Yahoo Screen because they had Community. I had no other directive other than that, or had no other interest in Yahoo Screen other than it was the thing. It was the thing I needed to watch Community every week.
It was the website for my burner email. It was the website for the email I used for Facebook. You know, it wasn't even like my primary email. It was the dump email.
Oh God, that's so damning.
I mean, I'm
wasn't
sorry.
Even your third email.
It wasn't even my like real email. It was right, because like at the point where Yahoo Screen is dropping, I had primary Gmail and I had my student email in college. So Yahoo was my third most important email.
Wow,
it had Community on the email.
That is
Community was
devastating.
on my email. I mean, I'm sorry, Yahoo.
To me. But honestly, it's just like watching, because again, we talked about it a little bit last episode, but just I was always very much kind of pushing towards a full rewatch eventually, and I knew that I was probably going to try to at some point, and then I just kind of backed into it. But
this show was mine. This podcast was my rewatch.
Yeah,
my
absolutely.
overdue.
I absolutely understand that. But it's just like it's been so nice to kind of just rediscover that, like, just at its base level as a show, it's still so funny and it's still so charming and endearing to me, and that this episode in particular was just a tremendously strong example of how good it can be with other X factors, like them folding in Paget Brewster and Keith David and Matt Berry, plus all these other like genre riffs and like very specific jokes about one very specific movie. And also the joke about the John Cusack movie that Abed also says
The Grifters. It contains shockingly little grifting.
Yeah, all of these weird like the Matchstick Men jokes and all of the that whole sequence at the very end where they're just introducing more briefcases into the grift, and they're not putting more layers of like material into it.
Nope.
And then also probably my favorite reveal, and something I'd completely forgotten, that they all just like assume that Jeff knows about grifting. Oh, Jeff is going to be this great grifter. And then like at the
when do you think I went off and planned an entire
he just fully puts it on the table. It's like, I have no fucking idea what I'm doing, guys. When was I supposed to write an entire grift that you guys were not part of and then set it up? Like, it's just so funny. And just like a really, really good example and extrapolation of where these people are now within the sphere of the show. Like it doesn't make too much of a meal out of like where their positions are, what their statuses is within Greendale. It just kind of just puts them in a situation, lets them be funny, and then grafts the genre stuff on top of it.
Absolutely. And, you know, this kind of hits at this weird moment in the season where, you know, I'm not trying to color your rewatch too much, but I think the first half of season 6 is pretty fucking unassailable. I think it's like, it's hit after hit after hit after hit. It's so good. And then there's kind of this weird 3-episode patch where they're just kind of like, just kind of riffing. Just kind of doing some weird stuff before they absolutely knock it out of the park with like the last 3. Just like banger, banger, banger on the way out. This kind of, it's just this weird, like you did 90% of a project, you went on vacation, and now you're coming back to like finish it off or something like that. I can't think of
like 2 days.
Right, it's like, I don't know, you're Robert Zemeckis and you filmed most of Castaway, and then you need to go away because Tom Hanks needs to lose a bunch of weight, so you come back and then you knock out the rest of Castaway. Like, I don't know, that's just the weird way it feels to me.
And my memory of it, just as airing, I remember being really pleased with it, and just in terms of like its comedy and its emotions, I remember being like really, really into it. I'm excited to kind of get back. Detail stuff, definitely, but I think the larger beats I remember being very pleased with, and I feel like I'm gonna get it even more so now, just with that kind of distance between it.
I think putting a little less pressure on this season is wise when reviewing it. And, you know, considering all the extenuating circumstances regarding cast, and considering, as we discussed, this sort of, like, show that is in its afterlife. This show that is beyond death. Like, is so unconcerned with death at this point. It has embraced its soon death, and so will now live as it chooses.
I kind of feel like it's... And I kind of got this sense a little bit in season 5. It's just like we're no longer on borrowed time. We get to just kind of do what we get to do for ourselves and our characters, and we're going to try to put everybody in a place that's pleasing enough to where if we don't get any more, then we're fine. And I finished that today, and I was like, wow, I guess I really forgot how kind of like this, especially the last 2 of season 5 are a little squiffy, and
no one's favorite episodes. I don't think.
And I totally forgot about all of this, like the gold computers, like the fact that the school council guys have like full arcs now, and like it's very weird. But I just remember I felt like I felt then. I was just like, oh, wow, like if I never got any more, that would probably be okay. And then I jumped forward to this one in season 6, and I'm like, oh, yeah, this is when they just kind of throw everything at the wall because they can. And then that's how they end the show.
Community in season 6 is the old man with terminal lung cancer. And it's like, what? You want me to stop smoking now? Like, it's not. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want at this stage.
What a ghoulishly apt.
I mean, they're like, I'm gonna die. I might as well smoke a movie kind of. Like,
but no, I'm really excited to try to see it all as one complete block, and
even
good.
Just it's a good watch.
And even again, just like even if it comes back, or if it doesn't, or if they have a movie or another like 6 or 8 episodes or whatever, I think I'm cool with it. I'm glad that I now am reconnected to it in a way that's both beneficial and pleasing to me, instead of it being a responsibility, or it being something that I feel like I have to do to invest in its survival.
Exactly. Now you can enjoy it as television. Now you can just enjoy it as a story, not something you have to like emotionally invest in beyond the traditional way you would emotionally invest in a television show. You can watch it the way you watch a regular television show, and I think that is only beneficial to this season. And I'm at a point in my life where I'm like, hey, if we get that movie, fantastic, excellent. Absolutely. And if we don't, show ends really good.
Yeah, I still have the TV show.
It ends on a really good note. I think, I'm okay. I'm at peace if the hashtag never comes to fruition.
That's exactly where I have to be, because I think anything else below or above that is just detrimental to me.
And what movie could possibly live up to
we said this last time,
the expectations that we are currently investing in it? That's not, especially a comedy. You can't put pressure on a comedy like, make me laugh, this better be worth it. That's not no one's gonna enjoy that process.
And also regather these characters that we haven't seen in 8 to 10 years between. Or actually,
and you're gonna knock this out in 90 minutes? Like, you're gonna like cover all this ground, and it's gonna be like a good movie? I mean, like, it's not impossible. Like, I'm sorry to invoke him, but I have seen Serenity, and it's a pretty good movie.
It's pretty functional.
It's pretty good. And, like, I haven't seen the Veronica Mars or Psych movies, but I hear good things about what happened.
The Veronica
there.
Mars movie, especially, and that newest season of Veronica Mars is very good. Like, shockingly good and self-aware. But
I'm like, if we get Party Down season 3, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah, that's the next pinata that we have to crack open in terms of TV comedy.
I think they announced it, but I believe that shit when I see it. I believe in Party Down season 3 when I can watch it.
When I can turn it on somewhere.
It's the New Mutants movie. I'm like, I believe that the New Mutants movie exists when I see it. Otherwise, you cannot prove to me that the New Mutants movie existed.
That's a whole other.
That they actually filmed it. You know what I mean?
But thank you, man. I appreciate. I genuinely doing this in particular is very cool to me, just because this is, like I said, my favorite community podcast. But
which is actually saying something, because it's just 100. There's 1,000.
It's the same thing with Doctor Who. It's just like there's only 9 billion Doctor Who podcasts. I
cannot imagine.
But it's just like coming back to it and being so fond of it again is genuinely, it makes me really happy, just because of where I left it and because of like what I was feeling whenever it was wrapping up its TV run. And it's been very nice to not only watch them and get the same kind of comfort and laughs and stuff out of it, but also then to come here and also have a genuinely like good and beautiful discussion about this one thing that doesn't have to be like, well, how can we turn this into surviving it, or how can we turn this into now some sort of like activism to make sure that we get more.
All right, so we're all gonna meet outside of 30 Rockefeller Center with our fake beards, and we're gonna tell them to save community. We're gonna mail a bunch of peanuts to CBS Viacom.
I love that stuff, and I'm so happy that it's worked for people, and that it's given people a sense of meaning, and it's given people a sense of I was trying to say something other than community, but community. It's just like I can't invest my sort of fandom into that anymore, because it doesn't get me anything. It doesn't net me anything. Old. And I can't think of this stuff as a job anymore. I can't.
No. Even though, like, kind of for you, it is a little bit. You know what I mean? Like,
and that's definitely something that I've always kind of struggled with, and just in general. But just like I can't. The stuff that I like has to just be the stuff that I like, and it can't be work. It can't be, because if it is, then like I'm always working, and I cannot do that to myself.
No, you have to clock off. You have to be able to punch out. You have to switch off. Hot fuzz, and you like listen. I really enjoy, what we do in the shadows, Mythic Quest, Ted Lasso, you name it. If they stopped existing, I would continue to exist, and I would be okay. And I can't be college me, so emotionally invested in the future of community. I'm old. I'm old now. So like TV shows get canceled.
And also not every single thing that you consume has to be content. It doesn't have to be then transmuted into something else to then kind of expel outward, or to kind of express outward, or internalize in some way that gets something else tangible. Like I can't think of stuff like that.
I'm very proud of myself that I'm like, I am reading One Piece, and I am not doing a
You're
podcast.
just reading
I am
it.
not doing a thread on Twitter. I am just reading One Piece, and every
That's the
so
same thing.
often I'll post a panel. You know what I mean?
I have so many of these hard case crime books, and I'm finally just like, I'm just gonna read them. If I review them sometimes, or if I review one of them that I particularly like, totally, that's fine with me. I just got to read them, because if I don't, they're just going to sit here and it's going to do me no good, and it's going to make me feel like a failure that I've got all these books that I haven't read. So I have to just do them. And it's been very rewarding and like oddly enriching for me to just like, because I mean, you hear that shit all the time where it's like, oh yeah, writers got to read, and you're like, fuck you, I don't got to read anything. And then you go for a while not reading something and you're like, oh yeah, I don't remember any words, or I don't know how to like formulate a sentence, but if I see them somewhere, then maybe I can remember.
Yes, good.
Yeah, but it's all been, I guess I genuinely appreciate you asking me to do this, and to like I appreciate you guys kind of giving me this show back. Just in general, it's been very sweet to kind of rediscover it on my own and through you guys. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. It's been great for myself as a host of the show to like rekindle that, and then everyone like guests like yourself or people that have never and will never be on the show, but like I get to interact with or I know exist because I see numbers and I'm like, this many people are experiencing what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they are enjoying it without saying anything to me, which is a perfectly fine way to exist if you're listening. Thank you for not bothering me. You can bother me if you want to, but like, thank you. Anyway, Justin, you're a great friend of the pod. Tell the people where they can find you, find your work, if they so choose.
I'm right now I'm at Dismembered Online. It's a horror website. It's kind of up and coming. I actually this week I'm going to start covering Nightstream, the film festival, and I'm also going to be covering the new Chucky television show, which I'm very, very excited about. I'm also at the Collinsford Historical Society, where you can read about Dark Shadows. I'm a little bit behind on my audio reviews there, but I'm going to be starting back up again with one of the Marilyn Ross novels. So it's just like it's all horror all the time for spooky season, basically.
That's right. We are in the thick of it. This episode will drop on Tuesday, October 19th, an important day for community fans everywhere. Yes, thank you once again for joining. A pleasure as always.
This has been a Talkback Podcast.
That was quite a show, very entertaining.
Please tell your friends about this show.
Boopy doopy doop boop sex.
Larry, I'm on DuckTales.